Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, liberty-loving patriots. Welcome to the Lucid Libertarian with Lorianne show. Please be sure to tune in Sunday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, to discuss current events, news, and political opinion with Lucid Libertarian flair. Be prepared, folks. We often go into an optional extended third hour. This show advocates for liberty, freedom, our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and limited government, while speaking against corporate and government corruption, tyranny, and the globalist Great Reset agenda that undermines our precious American sovereignty. Discussions here are unscripted and free-flowing, so sometimes conversations wander off in unpredictable directions. Would you like to call in and share your thoughts and be part of the conversation? The number is 563-999-3698. Again, that is 563-999-3698. Then press number 1 and you'll be added to the queue. Please also like and follow my Lucid Libertarian with Lorianne page on Facebook. You can help me battle their freedom-loathing censorship by visiting my page regularly, along with reacting, commenting, and sharing my posts. Thank you so much for listening, but please sit tight and don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes to kick off the show.
Imagine waking up in a trunk. What is grooming? What if I told you we had a 40% increase of human and sex trafficking in our country due to COVID lockdowns? We already had high numbers to begin with. One's Purpose is an amazing organization pounding the pavement every day, helping these survivors get help. Unfortunately, they do not have the funding they need for a safe house. In the state of Oregon, we have 0 safe houses for these survivors who have endured the most heinous of crimes. The time is now to get involved. The time is now to help stop human trafficking. Please go to onespurpose.com to get involved. If you need help and if you know someone who needs to get help, please contact 541-221-3448. Make a donation, make a difference.
NWCR Radio has been on the air since 2006 and with Conservative Nation Media since 2013. Now, NWCR continues as the owner of CNM with the news that the lamestream lying liberal media chooses not to tell you because the truth has nothing to do with the agenda that they are all pushing. We will tell the truth no matter what the liberal left has to say about it or what the truth is. Being banned off of YouTube for telling the truth with my updates and off of Facebook several times, we have our badges of honor that we keep pushing the envelope for on our show. My co-host, Lucid Libertarian Lorianne, and I, along with my band of callers, have great shows with great information for America on each episode. We are NWCR Radio, Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio through Conservative Nation Media, where America always wins.
I am ready. There will always be wars and rumors of wars as long as time lasts, and we'll always fight to protect our families and our home and our homeland. It's all for God and country, no matter what country we find ourselves in. We are all God's children. And God, again, we ask your blessings upon our troops and upon America, and we pray for peace on earth and goodwill toward men. And we ask that you deliver us from evil in whatever form it might take.
Hello, all of you liberty and freedom-loving folks out there. You are tuned in to the Lucid Libertarian with Lorianne show. This is your host, Lorianne. Tyranny is the beast only liberty can defeat. That is really what is going on. We are living in a world of rampant tyranny, and it is a beast, and liberty is the solution, right? Right. I didn't have my show last week, so I am back now this week with a lot of ground to cover. Before I start rattling off all of the topics of discussion, I wanted to kick off the show with a video from Really Graceful, because she did a video a while back, on the 27th of February. She kind of revived a previous video that she did. So I want to play the clip, What the Media Won't Tell You About Lord Jacob Rothschild. On February 26th, Jacob Rothschild passed away. It's kind of old news now that it's been almost a couple of weeks, but this happened the day after my last show. On February 26th, he was 87 years old, and I wanted to play this clip because I don't think a lot of people really realize the impact of the Rothschilds. And she did a really good video kind of talking about not just Lord Jacob Rothschild, but, the Rothschild family. And so before I get into all the latest news and current events and everything that have transpired over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the show by playing this clip. Again, it's Really Graceful. You can find her on Rumble and on YouTube, but a lot of times when she does something that she knows YouTube will probably ding her for, she'll go ahead and publish it on Rumble. So Rumble should really be your go-to. And we have Mike and Boyd in the chat room. I see you there. Looks like you're both in the switchboard too. But, so howdy do. So it looks like everything's working. Last night on Donnie C. Beyond the Mainstream, his show got a little messed up because I think, Blog Talk, when there's a time change, when we go on or off daylight savings, and his show is on Saturday nights, it always seems to screw up the timing of his show. So I am glad that my show started as normal with no problems this time. So here we go. I'm going to play this clip. Stick around, folks. Don't go anywhere. But this is a really good clip talking about the Rothschild family. And this is, I think, appropriate since Jacob Rothschild died February 26th. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and launch.
Hey, Internet friends. On Monday, February 26, 2024, Jacob Rothschild was reported dead. He was heir to the Rothschild banking dynasty, a family who was notorious for financing every side of every recent war, a family intimately associated with the Federal Reserve. He's an important figure to discuss as much of what his family has taken credit for. We're seeing the consequences of these actions play out today. The name Rothschild is synonymous with current events, even though they like to orchestrate from behind the scenes. For example, before World War II in 1917, the British Foreign Secretary wrote a letter to Lionel Walter Rothschild. This was called the Balfour Declaration, and in it he said that the British government supported a Jewish state in Palestine. which of course emboldened the Zionist movement and eventual establishment of Israel. Obviously, that's a big deal today because everyone's still fighting over it. The hard truth is that Israel is a common denominator in every major conflict we see play out across the world stage.
And here it is, the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
I genuinely feel it's one of the most extraordinary moments in the history of the Jewish people. If you think it took 3,000 years to get to this. And then you say, how did this miracle happen? It's the most incredible piece of opportunism.
Talking about the Rothschild family can be kind of touch and go. And I'm not talking about just the censorship aspect of this. In a sense, they're the manifestation of this reality's boogeyman, and they're dedicated to their role. For an example, here's a picture of Jacob Rothschild with Marina Abramovic in front of a painting entitled Satan Summoning His Legions. Of course, Marina Abramovic is responsible for greatest hits like Spirit Cooking, as she was one of the central figures of Pizzagate. Zelensky even asked Marina Abramovic to be the ambassador to Ukraine back in 2023. And you remember all this discourse about Ukraine being the new Israel. It's almost too perfect. It feels too scripted to be true. All that's really needed are faint echoes of maniacal laughter playing on a loop in the background. But of course, never mention blood libel. It's just a anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The Rothschilds are so openly proud of their queer practices that they just brag about it. Here's Jacob Rothschild talking about how his family kept power within the family through inbreeding.
And Baron James, who was head of the Paris branch and the youngest of the 5 sons of our actual Rothschild, gave an astonishingly uninhibited description of the 19th century Rothschild policy of keeping it in the family. I'll quote to you from what he wrote and make you smile. In our family, we've always tried to keep love in the family. In this sense, it was more or less understood since childhood that children would never think of marrying outside the family, so that our fortune would never leave it. You couldn't write that today.
And you know, Jacob Rothschild's reported death really means nothing. I've heard rumors that he's actually the father of Princess Diana's first son, William, which would be very interesting timing considering the current state of King Charles. But again, those are just rumors, and they're easily dismissed. In fact, there's all kinds of rumors about this family that seem so strange it could never be possible. But their timeline of accolades truly demonstrates that reality is stranger than fiction. Also, I just want to say I've seen people celebrating this guy's death across social media, saying that since Henry Kissinger is dead and the old Rockefeller guy is dead and now Jacob Rothschild, they think the New World Order is over because these figureheads are dead. But if you just look around, you realize that's totally silly because the majority are sucked into their phones and shot up with the latest medical potion and handing over every ounce of information to the surveillance grid for free, by the way. Eating poison food and still wearing, some people are still wearing face masks in the Costco. I've seen y'all. I've made eye contact with y'all. But for me, this is simply an educational opportunity on showing those who are curious on how the world really works from a historical perspective, in hope that we can collectively notice patterns and avoid mistakes of the past. My Rothschild family documentary has been hidden on YouTube since I put it up, age restricted, so I'm going to play it for you now.
Hey Internet friends, chances are if you've spent any amount of time trying to figure out how the world really operates, you've stumbled upon the name Rothschild a time or two during your travels. While Rothschild isn't a household name like Bush or Clinton, the Rothschilds play a lead role on the global stage. But unlike our political figureheads, we have no say in their rule, much less a say in how they rule. In fact, what I've noticed is that if you even dare suggest that the Rothschilds or any other family or corporation is playing puppeteer, you'll get labeled an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist at some point in your venture. But in an effort to reveal what was once hidden, let us cast away the fear of being laughed at or shunned. This won't be an exhaustive video on the Rothschilds, but if you're new around here, I hope to give you enough information to spark your interest so you'll do your own research. And maybe, in a not-too-distant future, we can all work together to formulate some solutions, some peaceful solutions. While not the only ruling body near the top of the pyramid, the House of Rothschild, their Jesuit handlers, and most importantly, the driving force behind their actions, are all certainly worthy of discussion. Don't you think?
The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that.
The Rothschilds claim to be a wealthy Jewish banking family that got their start in 1760 when Mayer Rothschild established his banking dynasty and sent his 5 sons to foreign countries to continue the family business. At least that's what the majority of their published story claims, but this is just one token in a jingling coin purse of tricks. The story of the House of Rothschild begins long before the 18th century. The Rothschilds are Khazar Jews who converted to Judaism but never made the full conversion. While this is a sensitive and complicated matter to research and discuss, much less, if you follow the Bible, take note that the Bible warns of fake Jews not once, but twice. Another tip-off is that their name isn't really Rothschild. The family did the old switcheroo and changed from Bauer to Rothschild, using the red shield outside their residence as inspiration for their new identity. Rothschild, German for red shield. Here's where the published history usually begins. After establishing himself as a banker through a series of tactics like offering rare coins and treasure at a discount to nobility, Mayer Rothschild secured himself as a member in the in crowd, getting in good with the Prince of Germany by assisting with his Rennetroop business. And as a court Jew, he lent money and handled the finances of the nobility. And when Mayer Rothschild sent his 5 sons to expand their family business to London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples, their banks caught on by using a system where you could go deposit your gold at a Rothschild bank in one country, get a receipt for it, take that receipt to another country, and withdraw your gold. So during your travels, you wouldn't be separated from what is yours by theft or any other misfortune. And while that was a pretty novel idea, it's important to note that a key function of banks in general is to offer loans and charge interest. That's how they profit. But when this system goes unregulated and the bankers assess a desperate need for money, thus charging an exorbitant interest rate to loan out that money, that's when things go south. Because when a person or a government is faced with the prospect of either losing human life or taking on interest for a loan, well, most folks are going to go the interest route since human life is priceless. The ideology or motivation behind this greed is one of the major factors of how we got here today. That's the basic foundation, but let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the story. The wavering moral compass that led to immense wealth. While the Rothschilds had a hand in the opium and slave trades, the City of London's central banking system counterfeit money in the French Revolution, I told y'all this was going to be an accelerated history. I don't want y'all to have to sip from your camelbacks and slip on a pair of Depends to watch a single video of mine, so let's move on to the Rothschilds' funding of American colonies, their role in the American Civil War, and the series of events that led to the creation of the big kicker, the Federal Reserve. The American Civil War was financed by the House of Rothschild. They backed both sides, and throughout this video you'll notice this trend. The funding of both sides stirs and finances the hatred for both sides. And since war is profit, especially when bankers are the ones who profit from the loans the government takes out, at one point Abraham Lincoln needed more money, and the rates he was offered by the New York bankers were too high. Thus, he began printing government money. Take note that this money, unlike the money issued by the Federal Reserve today, collected no interest. Thus, Lincoln managed to work around the Rothschilds. But less than 2 months before the end of the American Civil War, President Lincoln was assassinated. You might notice another trend, the trend of dying figureheads anytime they go against the money trust, or the main belief that the majority of the world's financial wealth and political power could be controlled by a powerful few. Now that we've laid out their basic strategy, which is to cause wars or help them out, give them a little nudge through some provocation, resulting in maybe a crisis or two. Loans are dished out at exorbitant interest rates on both sides of the wars. Then when both of those governments can't repay those debts, the Rothschild Bank calls in the loans and takes possession, installing a central bank. In 1913, the same year the Rothschild-funded Anti-Defamation League was founded, the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States, was conceived. It is neither federal or owned by the government. The Federal Reserve is privately owned, which means it generates private wealth. Guess who benefits? Not the American people. 1 year after the creation of the Federal Reserve, World War I began, pitting the Allied and Central Powers against each other. Guess who was funding both sides again? You guessed it. And the result was the fall of the German, Russian, Ottoman, and Austro-Hungarian empires. But who cares if there's money to be made off both of the winning and losing sides? After all, it brings us closer to a one-world government, doesn't it? And a one-world government means a central global bank. In 1917, through the Balfour Declaration, the British government expressed their support for a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The letter was written to none other than Baron Lionel Walter Rothschild. With the Versailles Treaty of 1919, Britain was entrusted with the temporary administration of Palestine. Now I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. With the Rothschild bankers funding both the Axis and the Allies, the Second World War brought us closer to a one-world government with the establishment of the United Nations. But money wasn't the only thing that the Rothschilds contributed to the Second World War. According to a book by psychoanalyst Walter Langer, not only was Hitler supported by the Rothschilds, he was a Rothschild. Hitler's father was the illegitimate son of a girl who was living in Vienna at the time she conceived, and at that time she was employed as a servant in the home of Baron Rothschild. But as soon as the family discovered her pregnancy, she was sent back home, where Hitler's father was born. With the House of Rothschild claiming to be a Jewish family and the force behind the Zionist movement, their connections to Hitler and the funding of both world wars is curious, especially given that one of the results of World War II was the State of Israel. How many lives have been lost in wars funded by bankers? War is profit, and if war ceases to continue, the cash flow stops, thus posing a big old problem for those who rely on war for wealth. In 1963, even though war was over, the bloodshed hadn't stopped. On June 4th, President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order which returned to the U.S. government the power to issue currency, which meant they didn't have to go through the Rothschild-owned Federal Reserve. 6 months later, JFK was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. In the following decades, central banks continued to pop up across the world, with the European Central Bank set up in 1998 in Frankfurt, the city from which the Rothschilds' banking dynasty began. And after 9/11, the United States declared a war we've really not been able to get out of, an endless war on terrorism that the world is frightened into with each seemingly random terrorist attack. Hatred and fear fuels each side of the war, but only one entity funds both sides, keeping each rival distracted from focusing their attention on whose war this really is.
I wonder what will happen to us, to people like you and me, when there are finally no more wars to occupy us.
Magicians can only enchant their audience if the audience is unaware of how the trick is executed. If more people knew about how the shadow government operated, then maybe we could channel our energy into creating solutions for the future. But that's the thing, we're too busy paying away our debts, working at jobs we hate, so we can spend a little time with the people we love. We can never truly free ourselves without being able to name who rules over us. If you have any solutions to our current predicament, I'd love to hear them. As always, I look forward to your comments. Thank you for subscribing and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!
All right. I hope you all enjoyed that clip. Really graceful, what the media won't tell you about Lord Jacob Rothschild. And like I said, she kind of revived a previous video that she did talking about the Rothschild family and a little bit of history there that I don't think that they cover in history class in school, do they? People don't really even hear about this. The Rothschilds aren't in people's minds when it comes to who is controlling everything. And that family is definitely one of the puppet masters behind the New World Order, behind almost anything that happens, as she was talking about. So with that said, hello everybody. Looks like we got Joe Gibson is in the chat room and in the switchboard as well, kicking back listening. So I just so here's what's happened over the last couple of weeks. So, I did my write-up, but of course there's never enough room in the show description area for me to fit everything, especially when I didn't do a show last, and we got 2 weeks worth of crap to talk about. So I'm just going to go on over to my Lucid Libertarian Facebook page and scroll some of the headlines of some of the stuff that I've posted over the last couple of weeks. And those can all be potential topics for conversation later in the show. But so before I bring anybody on, let's just have a little fun going through what's gone on the last couple of weeks. So here's the headlines. Venezuela refuses to accept its citizens deported from the United States. A report came out, that was on the 25th of February. So, yeah, Venezuela doesn't even want to take their own people back. Then next headline, gays against groomers, political endorsements, ban sexualization, indoctrination, and medicalization. I've been following Gays Against Groomers on Twitter, and they definitely do a lot of call-outs on the grooming of children, the sexualization of children. They are very much against what's been going on. So that was good. Let's see. The Trump campaign slams draft RNC resolution ensuring neutrality until he fully secures the nomination. That was also on February 25th. In Oregon news, also on February 25th, government report reveals things are bad for small businesses in Oregon. Gee, I think. Then 3 House Republicans submitted a proposal to ban tracking firearms through purchases. I support that for sure, but how much you want to bet that proposal or any legislation banning the tracking of firearms through purchases through your credit cards with special classifications, how much you want to bet that doesn't go anywhere. Let's see, the FTC sues to block Kroger-Albertsons merger, saying it could push grocery prices higher. And also this Kroger-Albertsons merger would create quite a grocery dynasty with that merger. So that's been going on. That was on February 28th that I posted that. And let's see, judge rules Trump ineligible to appear on the Illinois ballot under the 14th Amendment. That was on February 28th, but of course there's been developments in that arena since then. Mitch McConnell will be stepping down he'll resign in November as the Senate GOP leader. And Mitch McConnell's legacy, $27.6 trillion in national debt. I could pull that article if we want to discuss that in more detail as well a little later. Let's see, Representative Lauren Boebert from Colorado. Her son was arrested and faces 22 charges over alleged vehicle break-ins and property theft. So apparently Boebert's son is quite the little crime-ridden varmint. Not a sunny boy to be all that proud of, apparently. Let's see. Then February 29th, police identify Clark County deputies that were involved in a fatal shooting during a welfare check. That is kind of more local news. Clark County is in Oregon, or no, Vancouver. I mean, it's right across the river in Vancouver, Washington. And so these deputies were, they shot and killed a 53-year-old Jonathan Gale after they said he produced what appeared to be a firearm while holding a woman against her will. And so the officers shot and killed him. So that wasn't good. Let's see. Lake Oswego. This is just sickening to me. Lake Oswego, Oregon. A man is indicted after allegedly drugging girls at a sleepover. So that hit the news. That was February 29th that I posted that. So yeah, this father in Lake Oswego is like a richy town, okay? So it's not, a slummy area or anything. Lake Oswego is definitely a richy town. And so, yeah, so his daughter had a sleepover with girls, and he drugged their drinks and stuff, and that's quite a story that we could get into. I'm going to just open it up to talk about later, but it's just sickening, like, oh, my God, Anyway, on to other things. In Oregon, an amendment to recriminalize small amounts of drugs has passed the Oregon House. So, as you know, there was Measure 110 that passed, and it's been dismal with decriminalizing small amounts of drugs. And I've talked about this before, and it's created a lot of issues. But one issue that nobody seems to be talking about is where all the money went. With this measure, legal marijuana proceeds and tax revenue they changed the allocation to fund more drug treatment facilities. So when people were, caught with, possessing small amounts of drugs, they were offered a fine of $100 or go to a drug treatment facility to be evaluated and stuff to get drug treatment help. And so that it was supposed to be funding all this. But the thing is all the money that they collected that's supposed to go for opening up more facilities, treatment facilities, never happened. So they've been pocketing that money, and what nobody's talking about is what happens to that money. So, yeah, they're going to recriminalize it. But, every time I read about it, I don't know where that money's going. Is the allocation from the illegal marijuana tax revenue going to go back to what it was supposed to be, what it was passed to be after this? I don't know. So we might get into that later. Let's see. Democrats vote against personal liability for federal censorship, saying it doesn't go far enough. That was on February 29th. Then also on the 29th, Oklahoma Congressman Josh Brecheen says the U.S. is running on borrowed time financially before it collapses. Tell us something that we didn't already know. We can't continue to be, $32 trillion in debt, and that debt keeps, getting bigger and bigger as time goes on. It can't go on like that indefinitely, right? Then let's see, an Epstein grand jury documents could be released under a new Florida law. That's something that I posted on February 29th as well. Wouldn't that be interesting to get more information to come out as a result of this Florida law? Let's see. And then, of course, Lake and Riley murder exposed glaring security lapses on college campuses and the need for emergency blue lights. I think most of us have heard of Laken, or as Biden called her, Lincoln, during his State of the Union speech. He couldn't even get her name right. And let's see, Biden signs short-term funding bill to avert shutdown. House Speaker Johnson announces the release of 5,000 more hours of January 6th footage. That was on March 1st. Also on March 1st, God, this one's crazy. You guys should, if you guys look it up and try to find the video on it. A crash leaves driver and truck dangling over a bridge. It's crazy, this video. So look it up. It was on AP. On AP News, but I'm sure if you go to YouTube or something and look up crash leaves driver and truck dangling over bridge and watch it, you'll be like, wow. It's the kind of stuff that you see in movies, really. Let's see. Then, March 2nd, Supreme Court to review red state social media laws carries big changes for online platforms. Let's see. Then, also March 2nd, 3 trains derailed in Pennsylvania. No injuries or toxic spills reported. But 3? I mean, what is with Pennsylvania and all these train derailments? Make me scratch my head. Then also March 2nd, an initiative to ban state and local income taxes advances in Washington State. I'm definitely in support of that. Let's see. March 2nd, headline, Preposterous Answers. Comer says criminal referrals for false testimony is coming soon in the Biden probe. And let's see, Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan demands answers on White House's role in Google's woke Gemini AI. And then also March 2nd, Israel has reportedly agreed to a temporary ceasefire framework. Hamas was expected to respond on Sunday. That, of course, was March 2nd. And so, of course, there's been developments there. Let's see. IRS special agent for criminal investigation was indicted on involuntary manslaughter charges. Hooray. Gotta love those IRS special agents. They're just upstanding people, aren't they? Let's see. Then, of course, in Texas, firefighters are facing difficult weather conditions as they battle the largest wildfire in Texas history. Going on, that was March 2nd. And, of course, we talked a little bit about that. This is like the biggest wildfire, and Xcel Energy in Texas is saying, yeah, that might have been our fault that we started that big blaze. But, of course, whenever there's a big wildfire like that, it's always climate change, right? Climate change is doing it. Well, maybe not. Xcel Energy is taking responsibility for it. Let's see. That, again, with the Texas wildfire, I believe 2 people have died. So that was one story that I posted on March 2nd. Second person dies as Texas wildfires become the biggest blaze in the state's history. Let's see, Oregon lawmakers passed that bill to recriminalize drug possession, like I mentioned earlier. But let's see. Then scrolling up a little bit past the memes and back to the news stories. This was from 5 days ago. Ex-Twitter executives are suing Elon Musk for $128 million in severance pay. Yowza. Ouch. Then, also 5 days ago, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that Trump can remain on the ballot. So they basically negated the states of Illinois, Maine, and Colorado with their decisions from their courts and legislation to keep him off the ballot. The Supreme Court says, nope, can't do that. So he will be on the ballots there, or at least should be. Then also 5 days ago, Hunter Biden sought $5 million to try to squash the indictment for the Ukrainian oligarch, ex-partner says. So yeah, Hunter Biden's really in the thick of it. But of course, all the Biden family lovers out there just aren't going to pay attention to any of that. Bribe money, right? Let's see. Then, what do we got? Scrolling back up here. Of course, we had the big, Facebook outage. That was 5 days ago as well. I was one of the people that wasn't able to log in there for a while everything went down. So that was pretty curious because that was Super Tuesday. So the morning of Super Tuesday, Facebook goes down. And so, gee, I wonder why. I don't think that those two things are coincidence. Let's see. Then Pentagon leaker Jack Teixeira agrees to a 16-year prison sentence after pleading guilty. That's an interesting one. Whistleblowers, beware. Washington State's misinformation program flags factual stories on non-citizens voting. So yeah, there's all this misinformation stuff. That's what they do. That's the point of it. This wasn't by accident. Programs are meant to squash actual factual stories, label it as misinformation, and therefore nobody sees what the powers that be don't want them to see. So that becomes apparent. Then let's see. Colorado has a new bill that wants gun owners to pay for the acts of criminals. So Colorado is following California and Washington to impose a privilege tax, which basically equates to a privilege tax, to make ammo and guns a luxury instead of a right. So they're proposing an additional 11% state tax on guns and ammo, and this is on top of the 11% federal tax. So that would be a 22% total tax that these states want to do on gun and ammo purchases. So definitely against that. I'm not supportive of the 11% federal tax. There should be no taxes, firearms. That is a constitutionally protected right. You should not be penalized for the privilege, right? It's, you can't take a right and turn it into a privilege. That's exactly what it does when you tax it. It makes it a luxury. So definitely against that, but that's the era that we're in now with the gun grabbers. Let's see, the House voted on a spending package to keep the government open, including $13 billion in earmarks. Let's see, in New York, the governor of New York is deploying 1,000 National Guard and state police to patrol New York City subways. Apparently the crime is so bad on the subways that they're deploying National Guard and state police for that. That's not good. Remind me not to go to New York City, and remind me again not to ride the subway. In an interesting turn of events 4 days ago, Mitch McConnell endorsed Donald Trump after Nikki Haley exited the race. I'm sure that he did so reluctantly. He wasn't that big of a fan. But yeah, Nikki Haley is out, so leaving Trump as the GOP contender. Let's see. In Iowa, a bill eliminating drop boxes and banning ranked choice voting passed the Iowa House. So I'm in support of that as well. Let's see. President Biden's State of the Union address was basically the state of lies. We've talked about that on other shows, but that State of the Union address, and that's a conversation right there. Lie after lie after lie. And as I mentioned earlier, we couldn't get names right. He was somewhat awake. He seemed to be pretty drugged up there during the start of it, but he was coughing the whole time. And toward the end of it, of course he has his angry, the belligerent, angry moments as well. So he's really an embarrassment. I do pat myself on the back. I managed to watch the entire thing. Let's see. Then also 2 days ago, I posted Sweden has now formally joined NATO. So this is another move that, of course, Russia is not happy about. So now Finland and Sweden and Norway are all part of NATO. But, Putin's just crazy for, thinking that might be a threat to him, right? Let's see. Then Senator Johnson calls out major issues with vaccine and false narrative pushed by federal health agencies and big pharma. So he's calling that out. I'm surprised that Facebook even let me post that. So they must be a little more lenient now because, if it was 2 years ago, I'm sure that my page would have been taken down if I had posted something like that. Then also another article that we might be able to get into too is Super Tuesday election problems from ballot scanners, voter check-ins, and wrong redistricting information. And I know that Joe Gibson is definitely experienced some anomaly issues in his own election for House District 65 in North Carolina. Some anomalies there. So, yeah, there were some problems, and I think that's just a preview of what we're going to expect in November. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking here. Wow, it's already 6:49, so I better hurry up. Trump has challenged Biden to a debate. And then Biden is like, well, it depends on his behavior. I might do a debate with him if he can, if he can be a good boy. So come on now. So I think everybody's kind of placing bets whether or not we will actually see a Trump versus Biden debate. I really hope that we do. Let's see. Then 2 days ago, the House passed the Laken Riley Act, strengthening ICE's ability to detain illegal immigrants. So that's a step in the right direction, but we'll see if Biden would actually sign that. Let's see. The Houston police chief apologizes as 264,000 crime reports went uninvestigated. That's a lot. How do you not investigate 264,000 crime reports? Wow. That's what defunding the police does, I guess, huh? Let's see. South Carolina governor signs constitutional carry measure. So Louisiana became the 28th state, and so now South Carolina becomes the 29th state for constitutional carry. I am absolutely all for that. And then also from a couple days ago, the U.S. is going to set up a temporary port on Gaza to help facilitate aid, food and water and stuff like that. So it's going to be like a floating port. So they're in a scramble to try to hurry up and build this temporary port because the people in Gaza are definitely not in good shape. They're starving. They're malnourished. They're not able to get adequate medical care or supplies and all of that. So the U.S. is going to help out in that regard. Let's see. And then, of course, there's some fact-checking of Biden's State of the Union address we could get into as well. Let's see. And top economist expresses concern about shrinking job total under the Biden administration. This one's an interesting one. All of those jobs all those job reports that Biden has been bragging about month after month after month. Well, those numbers have had to be revised repeatedly. We can get into that as well. And revised, not in favor. They've been having to be lowered by significant numbers than what was initially reported. So we all know that those numbers, we could feel it. We all, I know me, like all these job numbers that they're talking about, like, come on now. There's reality, and then there's what Biden and his administration wanted you to believe. During the State of the Union address, that was also in the news. A Gold Star dad was arrested after heckling Biden during the State of the Union address. He was the father of a soldier that died in the Afghanistan withdrawal debacle that Biden did. And, of course, he was removed because of heckling him. Oh, poor Biden. Doesn't like to face the people that are impacted by his decisions. The Alaska Supreme Court. Here's a good one. Boyd, I know you're kicking back. Law enforcement must have a warrant to use aircraft and zoom lenses to surveil people. So law enforcement can't just be flying their drones with their cameras over your house and spying on you without a warrant. So that's a good thing. That should always be the case anyway. That should be something that's a law that's in every state. In any other type of situation, this free for all when it comes to surveillance needs to stop. And let's see. Then also an emergency landing at LAX for United Airlines flight on Friday was the 4th this week. So 4 emergency landings by United Airlines in 1 week. That's concerning. I don't really want to get on a United Airlines flight anytime soon. I can tell you that much. And then also another story that I talked about this quite a while ago. Saudi company officially stops using Arizona water. A while back I talked about this, and they were bypassing like water restrictions when there was drought. They were leasing this land to grow alfalfa, and then shipping that alfalfa to feed their own cows, because the alfalfa is very water intensive, and in Saudi Arabia they just don't have enough fresh water to grow it themselves, so they're leasing land to grow alfalfa, to ship it overseas. And when they had all of these water restrictions, for some reason, those water restrictions didn't apply to them. They could still continue using as much water as they wanted to grow their alfalfa. So now they're officially stopping using Arizona water for that. So that's long overdue. I don't understand why they were allowed to begin with. Let's see, then Donald Trump posted $91.6 million bond in the Carroll defamation case. Ouch. Let's see, then another sick story. 2 women drove a dead man's body to a bank to withdraw his money. This happened in Ohio. People are frippin' crazy. And then this one's also kind of a interesting one. They in Japan, they male office workers experience simulated menstrual pain. I couldn't move. One of the Japanese male office workers said, I couldn't move. So they simulated menstrual pain. Poor these guys. Oh, how interesting. And they didn't like it. They couldn't handle it very well. And then also, just recently, the Senate passed $460 billion spending package, 75 to 22, averting a partial government shutdown. And that's also, what had $13 billion of pork involved in that. And let's see, House Republicans demand answers over 320,000 illegal immigrants flown into the U.S. And I know that they were talking about on a liberal show, Joe Gibson, we were talking about it. He kind of mentioned that, and of course that's all made up. Like, these liberals do not want to believe at all that this stuff is happening. They said, no, they're not flying them in. They're not flying them everywhere. Yeah, bullshit. 320,000 illegal immigrants flown into the U.S. Border Patrol killed a man allegedly robbing and threatening illegal immigrants. So the man that they killed was a Mexican citizen that was apparently robbing and threatening crossing. The Border Patrol shot him. Operation Lone Star passes the 3-year mark as Texas officers apprehend over 500,000 illegal immigrants at the border. 500,000 in 3 years, are apprehending them. You know, and that's just how many they apprehended. Anyway, so that's the rundown on everything that's gone on, at least the headlines anyway. And so now, without further ado, we got Mike raising his hand, we got Boyd raising his hand, we got Joe Gibson raising his hand. So I'm going to go ahead and start bringing all of you on into the conversation. We got a Skype caller raising their hand. We'll find out who that is here in a second as well. So Mike, you're on. Boyd, you're on. Joe Gibson, you're on. Skype number. Who do we got? Skype number.
Hello, Lorianne. This is Brother Mike. How are you?
Hello, Brother Mike. Good to hear from you today. Let's see. So I'm bringing you all in. And who else we got? Hello. Everybody's been waiting with bated breath. Looks like we got Gunslinger. So I'm go ahead and bring in Gunslinger as well. How do you do, everybody?
Hey.
Great.
Hi. Pretty good. Thank you.
Sounds like somebody's chewing.
I mean, that may be the crazy high
or
retard.
Rick and leave.
No, it's my salt shaker. The grinding of my salt shaker. See?
Oh. I have those too. I get the Himalayan pink salt and I grind it. Yeah.
The pink salt.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, pink salt.
And boy, we got a lot of people in the chat room too. Bringing it, boy. Hello. Cinnamon's in the chat room. Donnie's in the chat room. Ron Rec, how you doing? Good to see everybody has made their way here. So, of all of those things that I went over the last 40 minutes, what y'all want to talk about?
Well, the most important thing you talked about was what you opened up with, which was the Federal Reserve. That's, the central banks around this world, and they're the ones that control everything. That's the head of the snake. You want to fix the world's problems, you want to fix the problems we're facing every day, then that's what you got to attack. You got to attack the Federal Reserve, the money, the monetary system that controls everything we do.
And you can't do what JFK did and say you're going to attack it and then go off and attack it, because if you just say it and sometime between there and there, and when you actually do it, they're going to kill you. You got to just do it. All right?
Yeah, well, you got to get people behind you. You got to talk about it. You got to let them come try to kill me. Try to come kill me. Go ahead. I fight back too. I'm not going to drive around in a convertible down in downtown Dallas, waving at everybody. So I'm not going. So I don't have to worry about that. But they're going to come get me. They're going to come get me. There's nothing I can do about it. But they can't come get all of us. They just can't get all of us all at once. So if more people stand up, I remember and the Fed rallies. Remember back in 2000 with Ron Paul. Back in 2007, 2008, the end of Fed rallies that they had around the country. I mean, it was a huge movement, and it just died out. You know, I mean, so we got to bring that back and wake people up.
Yeah. We got to bring it back, and we got to actually do it. Find a way that's get it done, you know, and once we get it done, we can go back to what was making us money in the first place, and that's tariffs.
Well, you know the problem was.
Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that you know what the problem with JFK was. He was too nice. He was too nice, and that's what got him killed.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that. You can't say that. Well, I'm going to go after the Federal Reserve, was the biggest banking cartel on the entire planet, and then he said that we're going to get us out of Vietnam. He already had the executive order signed, the whole 9 yards, and that pissed a lot of people off. The big boys. When you piss the big boys off, you're in trouble. Okay. Yeah. And look what happened to him down in downtown Dallas. I've been over that place a zillion times. My mother was pregnant with me, and she's seen it. Okay, she's seen it. Man, that sent chills through your fucking head. Okay, because she said she's seen him just lay back, and his wife was holding over him. You can see the blood. You see the whole 9 yards. He's dead. Ooh, shivers. Oh, yeah.
Evil.
Right.
Pure evil.
Evil.
Yeah.
That's why they.
Go ahead. I just saw that Ron Reck is raising his hand, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him on in. Sorry to interrupt. Hey there, Ron. Howdy do.
Hello. How are you?
A resident retard.
I'm sure Ron
Joseph mentioned about that.
We have to change our status. Change our status, right, Ron?
Do what?
Change our status. Right?
What fucking status?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Status with the Federal Reserve. We're talking about the monetary system. You always talk about that.
That got Kennedy killed. That got him fucking killed. Don't fuck with the big corporations' money. Are you fucking stupid? Look what happened to Kennedy. Well, so there you go. Plain and simple. I mean, that's how it works. That's what happened. You don't fuck with the money. That's how big this is. This is the reality.
Then, Ron?
There is no out to this. They done built the monster. It is done existing and living in your life every day. Just like how you didn't win the election. Okay, there you go, man. You ain't got enough to give and to contribute to the whole system. You know what I mean? You got to be a big contributor. In other words, you got to be rich to get shit you want. There's ways around that. We'll talk. I told you. I will help you. I guarantee that. I'll show you some shit, blow your mind. But the fact of it is, remains saying the problem is reality and common sense do not collect no more in this world in the United States. I mean, they believe that reality is fucking so wrong. You know what I mean? You don't follow me? You get what I'm saying? Reality is so wrong. And they're right. It's complete fucking opposite. It just don't work out. Oil and water does.
We're already one step ahead, Ron.
By how's that? How are we a step ahead?
Like you said, we're a part of it.
No, we are it. We are. No, we're not part of it. We are it. We are fucking it, man. But we don't take care of business no more. We let them, the representatives, you hired them, you fucking gave consent to run this show for you so you ain't got to fucking do shit. At the same time, they're doing everything against you. You don't even fucking know it. That's reality. So there you go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do a speech tonight. But anyway, there you go. Party on. I'm in the process of getting fucking wasted, so I don't care. Anyway, I'll try to be nice. I'll try to be nice, but
So when was that? When was that new?
Well, Laurie jumped my ass the other day. You don't come to my show. That's why you don't come to mine. And she hates me and loves me. I don't get it. I just don't know what we get. I'm going to wind up going up there, man, guys. I'm going to go up there, guys. I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty. There's going to be, well, I mean, it's going to be crazy. Well, then we'll understand each other.
Well,
I do love you, Lord. Don't think I hate you guys. I don't. I don't like nobody.
Well, you want to talk about another subject? Human trafficking and the slavery in this world today is, and the children trafficking is obviously out of control. I mean, it's the hubs are around this world. I've been looking into it a lot lately. And remember, Lorianne, I told a couple of people actually. I said, well, if I didn't win the election, then I would probably, go work for a contracting company or something like that and try to get into that. Something that has some meaning instead of being a vegetable and a slave and doing nothing for the rest of my life, So, I've been looking into it, and I got contacted by this place in Uganda, actually, and they put me in touch with a town councilman there of some town. There's a district there. I can't pronounce the name, but apparently there's a big hub for, funneling children through. So obviously Uganda, I mean, everybody knows that anyway. So, but it's a place where they, make pit stops and they funnel children through. So I don't know, what I'm going to do, getting involved with that stuff. I'm still young enough to fight and do, I got skills that I've been taught and trained and learned over the years. So I want to do something that's valuable,
That's not, don't know.
Saving children is not valuable?
No, it's not really. In reality, it don't matter. It doesn't matter, Joseph. I understand you'll disagree with me, but I'm just telling you, it's going to happen anyway, Joseph. There's no, what I mean? Yeah, I'm with you. I believe what you're saying. I'm with that, okay? That children should be protected more than anything on this precious motherfucking earth. I'm with you. There's no doubt about that. But these motherfuckers don't care. They don't give a shit. It's all about the dollar. Anything they can.
I know, Ron, but evil flourishes when good men do nothing. So we've got to stand. You got to stand up and fight. Somewhere along the line,
Let me get to the question then. You don't let me get to the question yet, Joe. So where is the people that need to fucking fight this? When it comes to the end
right
of
here, you. Look in the mirror. Every person is a fighter. Every person is responsible for the position that we're in today. We all take part in it some way, somehow. We're all guilty. Whatever you believe in, when you die, we're all going to die one day. Whether you believe in God or not, whatever you believe in, you're going to face your Creator. Yeah. You're going to face something on your deathbed. Everybody does. So,
Well, if I do get to speak on my deathbed that day, time comes, here's the ones I'm going to say. I guarantee it. Fuck them. That's going to be it. Fuck them.
I know that, and that's your choice.
I won't give a flying fuck no more. I won't care. It's the living that suffers. Fuck them. It's all, man. But it's the way we live. It's the world. We are amongst the living. Okay, we are. We are the living heartbeat of this country, this world, this planet, whatever you want to call it. But we always have to have this fucking drama, theatrical bullshit in our lives.
It's good versus evil. Good versus evil. Never stop.
Well, you can say good versus evil. That's a good way to say it. But in reality, the fact is it's more of fucking a thievery that makes evil. That's it. Crime only institutes the fact of where somebody wants something more than you have.
They want to control. They want to have control.
That's right. They want it all. They want everything. That's exactly what it's about, man. The government, the government, the people that's supposed to be representing the people of the country are fucking us because they can. Because
they don't care. They don't care because they don't have to care.
The only thing they care about is making sure that fucking numbers comes in. I need that money. That money's got to keep coming.
Everybody cares about something.
If the money slows down, I got to throw up another fucking law. I force some motherfucker to do something. It's like auto insurance. You're forced into it. They try to force fucking the COVID vaccination. You see what I'm saying? All that shit. Force you.
But everybody cares about something in their life. Somebody does. And they
I care for everybody.
People like control care about something.
I care about everybody, Joseph. Everybody. I do. I'm sorry. I do what I can do, but, around me. You know what I mean? If I can't do something outside that box, I'll do it too. But it just depends. It all depends. What do I got time, and is it worth fucking supporting it? We live in a
There's one
fucked
thing
up
you
time,
never
man.
get back, Ron. There's one thing you never get back, and that's time. So how we spend our time and what we do with our time, is the repercussions of what we'll have to answer to in the end of what we did with our time. There's 2 dates on your headstone. When the day you were born and the day you died. What you did in between is not that long, between eternity. Eternity's a lot longer.
Joseph, listen. I need you to come down here to see me. And we're going to go fishing. All right? We're going to go fishing, all right? Seriously.
Fishing for what, men? Fishing for fishing.
What?
What are we going fishing for?
Fishing for men?
Yeah. That's what I thought he said. I thought that's what he said. I was like, what's he talking about? What is he talking about? Oh, he said come down and see you?
I was fucked up. Yeah.
You are? What are you saying? Somebody said men.
Man. I don't know where that ever came into what I was saying. No,
okay,
you need to
what
come
you were
down
saying
here.
then. All right, you didn't say it.
I
Okay,
need you to come. No, I didn't say men. No,
okay, all right. Okay, all right. I was saying, I was wondering, like, it can't be that messed up.
He's got that song singing, it's raining men. It's like
hey, Joe, I don't. Joe, I want to tell you that.
Oh my goodness! I think people are sleep deprived.
Hang on.
That hour of sleep everybody missed is showing itself.
Let Mike get in here.
Yeah,
I love Ron.
Yes, why?
Hey, let Mike get in here.
Why North Korea is printing super notes, and that's why how they get other missiles advancement. They get the parts anywhere they want to through the black market, and they use super notes. And super notes was seen in South Korea, China, and many other parts of the world. And then also they bring our economic down as well too, because billions of dollars super notes are probably is published inside North Korea, and God knows how many other countries they do the same thing. And
what's a super note? What's a super note, Mike?
It means they copy $100 bill, okay, exactly the same as United States. Nobody can say anything about it, and that's why it circulates throughout the world, within USA, North America, and anywhere around the globe. So then sometimes they catch it, but it's too late. God knows from where it originated, but they know that it's North Korea printing counterfeit super note dollars again and again over again.
I never heard of that. I just never heard of that. Yeah, I never heard of that. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
I know.
Right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
All right, can I butt in? Can I butt in for a minute? Can I butt in for just a minute, real quick? I'll let you guys go back in. Just give me just a second. Look here, Rob, fuck you and kiss my ass. I'm fishing for no fucking men, dude. Are you fucking out of your mind? Even though it's legal now to do it, but I don't. No. I'm talking fish. No fish. He's swimming in the fucking water. Me and Joe Gibson need to go out my fucking bass boat out on fucking Lake Taneycomo or Table Rock Lake or wherever. Out here in the Ozarks, Bull Shoals, wherever we go, man. I know some of the most beautiful fucking places you've ever seen in your life out here in these fucking woods, all right? And, just go fishing. And the only thing we don't want to go fishing with you, because we'll be out there by ourselves and won't be alone, all right? I'm not going to rape you. Don't worry about that. That ain't going to happen. Too tired and old, don't care. But I'm going to ask you a question. What the fuck's it all about? You know what I mean? That's the question.
All right.
You know what I mean? That you see my point? What I'm saying, Joseph?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I do. I'll tell you what, last night, after talking with you last night, actually, I was thinking about you today. I was like, I kind of like that guy.
God. What? You are fucking retarded, stupid. Okay, all right. That's official.
Even though
now.
you're an asshole.
Why am I an asshole? Why do people think I'd be? I mean, Laurie hates my guts.
No, Joe Gibson, you're the asshole. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
I really am.
Right, and here I'm offended. I've had problems. I think about suing her over this. I think she has money. Abuse me the way she does. I don't know why she hates me. Am I that much of a dick, Laurie? Fuck. Ooh, fuck me.
I don't hate you.
That's what I've heard.
I've never said anything bad about you.
Oh, the rumor. Oh, my God. I heard on the internet. They said, oh, my God. You wouldn't believe it. Shit Laurie has said about you.
You heard it on the internet. So of
I
course
said, well,
true.
guess what? I said, it's probably true. Anyway, sorry.
Where's our new friend at tonight? Our new friend check in tonight? The what's it? Well, I don't know what to call him, but Patrick, I think.
Patrick?
No sign of Patrick right now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering where Sarge and Bianchi are.
I know. Or John Doe. Where's he?
They never come to my show. They never come to my show. They never come to. Never. They're scared of me.
I'm a little worried about John Doe. I haven't heard from him in a few weeks.
Really? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
I haven't heard
is a
either.
Skype number kicking back. I do have
No,
a Skype
fucking
number
bring him on.
kicking back.
Drag him in. Don't fear the reaper. Pull him in. Just do it. I do it all the time.
Daniel and Kathy.
You ain't got your hand up.
Daniel
Well,
and
fuck you.
Kathy are
I'm bringing you
listening.
in. So.
Unmuted.
Well, I usually don't bring people in unless they press 1 to raise their hand. Not at least until before the switchboard shuts down. Then I'll bring everybody in.
Oh, God. Here we go. All right.
Unmuted.
All right. Now Daniel and or Kathy are raising their hands, so I'll go ahead and bring them on in.
Let them in. Bring them on. Let's go. Fuck, we ain't got all night.
Party on.
Hey, I've got a question for Ron. Ron, why don't you tell the rest of us what you want to tell Joseph down there fishing? I want to know what it's all about. Because we're not going to get to come down fishing and get to hear the speech. I want to know what it's about now.
Well, I'm going to teach him a lesson. This is the Ozarks, where I live, all right? It's nice country, beautiful place to live, all right? But the whole point of it is, the question would be, what the fuck is going on? What can we do? What can we do, man? What do we got to do? That's the whole thing. What do we got to do? Because nobody else knows it. Right. And I would only pick Joseph to fucking be with me to talk about that. Because I think the guy's got the right fucking shit in his mind. Same thing what he's doing. I like it. And if I like it, well, fucking got to be halfway fucking right. So I just want to visit with him and get together and talk some shit and fucking, like good old boys and do our thing. Do some fishing, drink some beer, smoke a little weed, and whatever. It don't matter. Right. It don't matter no more. In Missouri, it's legal to do that, so fuck, man. But the point being is, discrimination is an ugly fucking word. It's an ugly fucking word. But it happens in so many different ways that people apparently do not realize and understand. First I would say, well, black and white thing. That's where we're going to go with that. No. There's more to it than that. Much more than that. It doesn't matter what color you are, really. Discrimination is fucking deep, and that's how it works. It doesn't care. And it's another way. You got to remember, everything is done in a way to fucking trick you. It's all to fuck with your mind to let you fucking consent to this bullshit. I mean, I'm not going to go into all this. It's not my show, but, I mean, it is what it is. You got to watch what's happening. You got to see what's going on in reality. Because they could tell you a lot of things, and it all seems right, but it's fucking wrong as fuck. And that's what we went through. We've done it, but it didn't matter. Whether we are or not, they did it anyway. This is what I'm going to do, you people. This is the control I'm going to take over you. I'm going to control you one way or another. You are my blade. You're my dog on the fucking rope. That's what you are. That's the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. That's what they want.
Well, hey, it's just the same thing. Until you cure stupid, okay? And there are a lot of stupid people out there, okay? Until you're able to come up with a pill hey, you stupid people, take this pill and you might become smart. Take, for example, you've heard of those Somalian pirates out there off the coast of somewhere. They're always attacking ships, and they're always attacking, big cargo ships and all this stuff, thinking they might get a little booty, okay? These people will attack warships. The U.S. Navy warships. Now, how stupid can you be to attack a warship? What are you going to do? Polish it? What are you going to do? Scrub the deck? What they do is blow them out of the water and get rid of them. Plain and simple. Blow them out of the water and get rid of them because they are a menace to society worldwide. Think about that. Go out there and attack a warship and see what you're going to get with just sidearms and AK-47s and stuff like that. What are you going to get? You'll get your ass blown out of the water is what you're going to get. And that's exactly what needs to happen to these people. The people that are in charge, the big babies, the big bosses. Mafia comes into mind? Sure, why not? Go ahead.
The problem with, Ron, the problem with your gun, the problem with your smart pill, is that the people that are really in charge don't want that. They don't want people to be able to take a pill and be smart. They don't want smartness. They don't want common sense. They want dumb. They want stupid. That's what they want. They want us to stay on that goddamn hamster wheel.
Yeah, that's right. But there's a way. There is a way to make people take these pills. You have to force it. I mean, a lot of people, Ron, you know what I'm talking about, what I'm fixing to say. How do you get a dog to take a pill? Okay? I've seen my dad give our dogs we had, the bird dog with worming pills and all that stuff back in the day. He would sit there and almost sit on them, take his hand, pry their jaws open, drop the pill in their throat, hold their jaws shut until the dog swallows it. You're going to swallow it or you're going to choke it. One of the two.
But isn't that
I've seen my dad do
dog abuse, my friend? Isn't that dog abuse?
No, the dog, they're going to swallow. They're not going to choke to death, obviously. Okay, or suffocate. They're going to swallow that pill eventually, and it works every time. Just like this book there. You hold that mouth open. I even dropped the pill in there when my dad was holding his mouth open. Clamp his jaw shut, rub his throat a little bit. He'll swallow that pill, or else. This is what people have to do. You have to force this upon people, and it's sad. It is. Go ahead.
Well, we make it a vaccine. People line up for shots. They won't line up for pills.
When Aaron Russo was friends with Rockefeller, Nicholas Rockefeller, he said, he asked Rockefeller, he said, why are you doing all this? Why you want to control people? And Rockefeller said, what do you care about the people for? Just care about yourself and your family. Don't worry about what the rest of the people do. They don't care about you. That's what he said. That's how they think. They don't care. They don't care.
That's the thing. I mean, we can talk about, look at Biden. We can talk about all the polls we want to talk about. He don't care about the polls. He don't care that they say that, the blacks are going to not vote for him or stay home, or they possibly even vote for Trump. He don't care that the Hispanics are going to stay home or not vote or vote for Trump. He don't care because he just don't care. He thinks he's going to win anyway. It's their country. We're just living in it. That's how they feel.
It's like Stalin says. It don't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes.
Yep.
Well, in today's society, there may be a little bit to that. It does matter who votes because they won't know these damn illegals to vote. That's what they're counting on. That's why the borders open. They want to bring these all these illegal, these
electronic
idiots.
These electronic ballot machines they're hooked up to a network or some sort of system, and they can play with the numbers, man. So they control it. Nobody's out there physically hand counting a ballot. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like Gunslinger likes to say, numbers don't lie, but they can be manipulated.
Especially when it comes to electronics. Yeah, especially when it comes to electronics. I don't care what level of security that you put on a computer. If you're smart enough and you've got that right little bug, you can contaminate that computer. Okay?
I had no votes last week. No votes. Zero.
See?
I voted for myself.
You got 10-year-old children out there that are computer whizzes today that could easily infect a computer with viruses and all kinds of stuff. You don't think these electronic machines are any different? No, they're not. There's no electronic machines that is 100%. Everything can be hacked if you know what you're doing. It's proven. I mean, come on.
I took my mother to the polls. She voted for me. I mean, I took my sister. I took a couple friends. I mean, where did those votes go? I had 0 votes?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You got to be crazy.
Yep. There you go. There's your proof right there.
And then, bam, I got 22,300 and something odd votes. Bam, right at the end of the night.
You got 200 and what?
2,395 votes. That was the final tally at the end. When they finally couldn't, at the end. Well, first I had 0 votes all night long, with like 66% reporting. Then it said 99% reporting. Then it said 99% reporting. I won. Then it said 99% reporting. I got 2,000 votes. So I got 20%, the same I got last time, the same last election, just about the same. So. Because this way I don't hit that 30%. Because if I hit the 30%, I can ask for a runoff in May. I can do another election, or I can be in the general election. So they made sure I stayed under 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Exactly. And they made sure that you definitely wouldn't have any ground to stand on as far as a recount or questioning anything. So making sure that you don't have any options. And speaking of that, since we're talking about the elections, I did want to go through the Super Tuesday election problems article. Numerous election issues occurred in multiple counties throughout the U.S. on Super Tuesday, from malfunctioning ballot scanners to voters having problems checking in at polling stations and being directed to the wrong station. Counties in Alabama, California, Texas, and Utah all experienced problems, resulting in some voters leaving polling sites without casting a ballot. You want me to go on? Because it breaks down some of the anomalies in each one of these states. Alabama, in a newly formed congressional district, 6593, so 6,593 voters received postcards from Montgomery County with the incorrect district, the Associated Press reported. The new district was drawn to increase the collective voting power of black residents. According to the Montgomery County Board of Registrars chairman, election software incorrectly identified some voters as living in the 7th Congressional District, despite living in the 2nd Congressional District. Voters were still able to vote for the correct candidates at the polls, though. As of Tuesday evening, the county had sent about 2,000 notices out to affected voters, with the other roughly 4,000 to be sent out on Wednesday. So this article was from March 6th. California. California, in Nevada County, voter check-in systems were temporarily down Tuesday morning. Isn't that coincidental? So is Facebook. Anyway, check-in systems were temporarily down Tuesday morning as a result of a technical issue. The county said that during that time, between 7 and 7:30 a.m., voters were given provisional ballots. The problem originated from the system vendor and was resolved at 7:30 a.m. and voting resumed as normal. Harris County, home of the city of Houston, has a history of election issues, to which Super Tuesday added. Democratic County District Attorney Kim Ogg was told that she already voted when she went to go cast her ballot in the Texas primary elections. Ogg was prevented from voting Tuesday morning because a ballot had already been cast in her name. She was also a candidate on the primary ballot but lost the election, according to the local news station. County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth released a statement Tuesday morning explaining that Ogg's life partner appeared to have mistakenly voted early last week under Ogg's name. Both Ogg and her partner live at the same address. Let's see. Then also in Fort Bend County, gave ballots to voters for the wrong precinct during early voting. The county said Monday the issue was caused by 2021 redistricting that resulted in several houses being incorrectly coded. The issue affected less than 100 voters. Tarrant County, which includes Fort Worth, experienced ballot scanner issues, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram newspaper. One polling location had malfunctioning ballot scanners for much of the day. A blind reporter for the Star-Telegram who went to that location found that the proper accommodation equipment for her to vote hadn't been set up. As a result, it took about 2 hours for her to cast her ballot. There were long lines for Republican primaries at the same polling locations because of higher turnout than Democrats in Tarrant County. One location didn't have enough voting machine power cords at the beginning of the day, but the issue was resolved. Some voting locations in the county initially had difficulty signing in voters, but the problem was solved rather promptly. However, a couple of GOP voters left one location that had issues checking voters in. Travis County also experienced issues signing in voters at the polls, but they were quickly identified and resolved, according to the Associated Press. In Utah, multiple counties across the state experienced difficulties with QR codes for signing in GOP voters for their caucuses. The online system was unable to function with the volume of voters trying to access it, causing local GOP leaders to switch to checking their voter registration lists and comparing it to people's photo IDs. The issue caused some voters to leave without voting. The Salt Lake County auditor wrote on his X account that his caucus ran out of ballots and voters were told to write down their preferred candidate. The Utah GOP chairman noted that there were hiccups during the caucus but called it a success, an overall success. So those are just some of the anomalies, at least that made the news anyway. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. Like how many, just in this one article affected, GOP voting. Do you think all of these things are accidents, guys? I don't think so. I don't, this is, and this is just what we've heard about, how many more anomalies were there? I would bet you there are probably a lot more that we'll never know of, that just didn't make the headlines. What do y'all think?
Yeah. It's a scam. It's all a lie. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the screenshots again, just looking at my election. 99% reporting. He says he's got 9,810 votes. 99% reporting. I got zero. I mean, how is that possible?
So Joe, you got zero votes? That's bullshit. You got more than that. It's impossible you got zero, my friend. Go ahead.
Zero. You are nothing. We know better, Joe. I'm fucking with you, man. Look, man. Yeah, Pops.
Well, at the end, they said, we'll give him a couple thousand votes. We'll give him a couple thousand. At the end, they said, well, just give him a couple thousand,
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, exactly. Make him feel all right.
Yeah,
fuck him over.
Oh, joke, man.
We fucked him over.
Well,
Floyd, what were you saying? Floyd, what was you saying? Yeah, Pops, what's going on, man? Okay, what?
Yeah. Do you realize and understand that these voting machines that we are using were developed specifically for the CIA to use overseas to control the elections overseas so our folks will get in?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Dominion.
Yes, sir. Diebold.
Dominion, yeah.
Where do you think
Diebold is another one.
Where do you think the Dominion voting machine came from?
Yeah, exactly. And they make ATM machines too. Ain't that sweet?
It's not just the voting machine; it's the programming on the voting machines. What's that company? Smartmatic. You know, all that stuff that.
Hey, and I see. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm bringing Pianki on in. We got Pianki in the house. Yay! Hey, Pianki.
Hey, Pianki.
You made mention of this scheme going on in Maryland, and we've seen it elsewhere, other states, to create black voting districts. That's about as big of a bullshit as you ever can get. That's actually segregation created by the court. Everybody should revise their voters register and remove the indication of your skin color, because that's how they go about coming up with this data saying that we need to create these all-black voting districts, as if blacks only want to vote for one particular party. And then when they escape those areas, here comes a big-ass lasso noose that capture them and pull them back into it. You got to protest against this crap and don't participate in it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Don't participate. But you know what, Bianchi? If nobody voted technically, I mean, only 12,000 people came out and voted. There's over 40,000 registered voters in my county. So I mean, so obviously people aren't participating.
People getting sick and tired of this crap, man.
Yeah.
And you ain't the only one I've seen that happen. It happened someplace else. I think it was in Georgia, where this one female was on the ballot, and she voted for herself. And when the tabulation came in, her vote wasn't even on the ballot. She had 0 people vote for her. Oh, well, we got a problem. We got to check it out.
Yeah.
That old lame brain excuse.
Pianki, to your point, look at what they did here in Louisiana with that cat-a-corner voting district that goes from Freeport to New Orleans. You know?
How many miles is that? From New Orleans to Shreveport? Hell, Shreveport is up at the northwest corner of the state. And New Orleans is down there below sea level. Absolutely, when you stand in your front yard and look toward the ocean, you're looking up at ships. The damnedest thing you ever want to see. You're looking up at ships floating in the ocean. What did that tell you? You're about a moment away from being in a deluge.
Well, Bianchi, tomorrow morning I'm going down to the courthouse. I got my lawsuit all typed up for the libel and slander lawsuit. Got it all typed up, ready to go. I'm going to be going down to the clerk's office tomorrow and filing it. So
you got
to
sue them, asshole.
So good.
I'll tell you something
right
else,
on.
too, Joe. I'll tell you something else, too, Joe. And tell y'all, every citizen who has had a loved one that's been harmed and especially killed by illegals, they should file lawsuits against Joe Biden. And let's see if the court's going to say he has immunity, but Donald Trump don't have immunity.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys heard about this story. In Nebraska, a lady found a gas pump software glitch that allowed her to get tens of thousands of dollars worth of free gas until the owners caught onto her. That is, when the software, the gas station, so she put her card, member, whatever member it is, and run it twice, and then automatically it says, okay, you can go ahead put gas. And keep she putting gas for relatives, for father, mother, neighbors, everybody. So she got like $28,000 free gas until they caught her. So you see, brothers and sisters, anything is possible these days. When you go anywhere in the world you vote, your vote is, you think you vote, but you don't know really where it goes. It goes to the A or B or the C or D, maybe. Go ahead.
That's where it goes, F.
Yep. By the way, Pianki, it is 327.3 miles from Shreveport to New Orleans. 300 miles.
Yeah, I see that. Damn well there ain't no black folks spread out
nothing
over those 327 miles there in Louisiana. And those that's at the farthest way from New Orleans, you know why they are there? They don't want to be in New Orleans.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's the thing. And I mean, apparently, what's his name is fighting. Is still trying to fight this thing. That's in the House right now. That he is my representative, Gary Graves. He's still trying to fight it. Don't know if he's going to be successful or not, but he's still trying to fight it.
Hell,
and
the governor should have said we ain't going to do it. What they going to do to you? Now, somebody tell me, what is the court going to do to a state when a state say we ain't going to do it on the pretension that you're causing segregation? We ain't going to do it. What do a wife say to her husband when he come asking for sex? She's, I ain't going to do it. And he sit there and look like a wet puppy dog and can't do jack about it.
Yep.
Well, they send federal troops down. They send federal troops down to the state, and then we're going to have a standoff.
Oh yeah.
It looks funny, Joe. It's going to look funny, Joe Gibson. You're going to have federal troops down there that's going to be fighting against both, guess what, blacks and whites. Now what they going to say? What the hell are they going to say? You got blacks over there standing with Joe Gibson, and you trying to lock Joe Gibson up for being a white supremacist, a racist, and all these other slangs. Now what they going to do?
Look at what's happening in Atlanta with Trump. Look at what's happening with Atlanta with Trump. The black people in Atlanta are standing with Trump. Because they know Fannie Willis's crap, and they know all this stuff is bullshit. But they're standing with Trump. But yeah, I mean, but my thing with the whole thing, you read that article earlier, Lori, about the about the processes and stuff, and you mentioned Tarrant County and these in Fort Worth with the ballot readers or whatever it was. That sounds like what happened in places in Arizona in 2020. Oh, we're gonna have these machines that read the ballots or count the ballots and do that, and what happens? Well, we saw what happened in 2020, and apparently the same thing happened in Fort Worth in 2024.
Nothing has changed. Nothing. They're using the same machines, the same process. The same crap is happening. So don't expect anything different to happen in this next election. Simple as that.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is just, these problems on Super Tuesday are just, what we have to look forward to in November. And I think that, this is just Super Tuesday. Like, how much stuff is going on? Not every state had their primaries on Super Tuesday. So I'm wondering how much more of this, as more states have their primaries as things go on. I'm curious to see how much reporting there's going to be when, as time goes on, with more and more of these kind of anomalies, and more and more of these, QR reading, can't read this, that, the ballot counters aren't working, verifying voter information, fraudulent votes coming in, and of course I'm going to be eyeing Oregon because, of course, last time here in Oregon we had the problem in Clackamas County where they knowingly sent out over 200,000 ballots, knowing that they wouldn't be able to be read, and so they had to be hand duplicated. When they came in, they needed to be hand duplicated onto ballots that could be read by the scanners. And so, like, right there, it's like I'm really curious to see if we have a repeat of that and what kind of anomalies are going to happen here in Oregon, especially since we're fully mail-in voting. It's open to all kinds of different problems that way, and it's just like, oh my goodness, what do we do? What do we do when our only way for we the people to actually elect representatives to represent us, and that's our only form of having a voice in our government. And when that is taken away from us, when it can't be trusted, when that's fraudulent, what the hell do we do?
We have to form assemblies, local assemblies in your district, in your community, in the small groups, and then step to this local sheriff and start there. That's the only way we're going to be able to change things.
Right.
Hey, Pianki, you're good on history. What was the battle in Tennessee? What town was it that the guys finally went over and stole the Athens. The Battle of Athens.
You're damn right.
That's where it's going to end up.
It's the same thing when Daniel Boone was fighting the Shawnee Indians. Remember? And he sent a scout to Virginia to bring back, guess who? The militia.
Yep. There you have it.
They were fighting the British. The Continental soldiers were getting their ass kicked by the British. The British gave the Shawnee Indians weapons, and they attacked the fort and kidnapped Boone's daughter. That caused a whole bunch of shit.
A lawful state militia is exempt from any licensing or statutory laws that conflict with the Constitution, especially weapons. Weapons has to do with weapons and the Second Amendment. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about on Tuesday. So we don't have any state militias anymore. That are together and organized lawfully. We have to put them together. We have to reform the militia back in all 50 states and take back. And like I said, form assemblies, step to our local sheriff, and go from there.
In the Louisiana Constitution, they call them the unorganized militia.
Yeah.
And they exist. They have all the rights. Look, let's use some common sense. If somebody come in and try to trample over you, you're supposed to shoot their ass. Simple as that.
That's right. Yep. That's right.
Yeah, Bianchi, think about it. Now, Brandon, when somebody even tries to brandish a weapon and to possibly protect their house, and they still get arrested and have the weapons taken away, I have not seen them return to them. See the guys up in St. Louis,
the two lawyers in St. Louis that when the riots were going on, the McCloskeys, yes, sir. Yes, sir. They had all the right in the world to stand on their porch and protect their house.
That was on the actions. That was on the actions of the St. Louis first black female prosecutor, who since have been ousted and sent back to the damn hospital where she was drawing blood, and she the one caused it, and had the police go by their house and confiscate the gun that the wife had, which was a prop gun, and they took it someplace and made it operable.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
The police took it to a gunsmith, and he made it work. So now she had able to prosecute and said that she was flourishing a deadly weapon.
Bottom line is, what are you prepared to do? How far is everyone? Everyone has to ask that question as an individual. You know, how far? Not what the next man is going to do. What are you prepared to sacrifice and stand up for? We're going to say, okay, cross this line, cross that line. When your back is against the wall, how far? What are you willing to sacrifice to protect your freedom? Or you want to kick the can down the road?
I'm going to give Jeff. I got to give Jeff to that because here's why. Why she fights for something that don't work. That would be sweet, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you think? Yeah. Why fight the good fight? Because you know you can't win it. You can't win it.
Thing is this, Ron Rick. The minimum thing that you should be able to do is protect yourself. Secondly, go protect and work with your neighbor to protect him too. And that's how it spreads. I ain't going to sit here in my yard all comfortable.
That's how it should be. Yeah, that's exactly how it should be. I agree with you, Bianchi. There's no doubt about it, brother. Exactly. That's right.
Hell, I can't sit here in my yard all comfortable and nobody bothering me, and I look down the block, they beating the hell out of my neighbor, taking his shit, his guns, taking his kids. Yeah. So I'm supposed to sit here and just enjoy myself with the potential where they ain't bothering me. Hell no, you got to go down there and help him.
That's what they want. That's what they want, though, man. You know that, Bianchi. That's what they want. Yes. They just want you to be obedient. That's all they want. They don't want you to be fucking anything else. They don't want you to be right. Only way they want you right is their way of being right. Ain't that true?
Hey, everybody. I'm just going to point out anybody that's listening out there, you have about 4.5 minutes to call in before the live show ends. So call in now, 563-999-3485 as we go into the bonus hour. So otherwise you'll get cut off and you won't be able to continue on with us. So if you haven't called in, do so now in the next 4 minutes, 563-999-3485. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, after
please continue.
And after the show dies is when it really gets good.
You know, fellas,
exactly.
During the Mexican-American War, you had patriots that walked, hear me, they didn't take Amtrak, they didn't take the Queen Mary, they walked dragging cannons from New York down to Texas. They walked. That's the type of attitude you got to have. You're going to either have it natural, you're going to be forced into it, or you're going to die.
Yeah.
All I got to say is that, like I said earlier, I'm not getting any younger, neither is anyone else. What are you going to look back on your life when you're old and, and you can't do anything? You're going to wait till it's too late and you can't fight?
I feel like I'm younger every day. I get younger every day. I do. I have completely reversed fucking time. Well, you know how my day starts out. Let me say how my day starts out.
When it comes to hand-to-hand combat, when it comes to hand-to-hand combat or fighting or having to do something, you have to be you have to be physically fit. You got to be, how are you going to fight the enemy?
Well, I'm not. I can't. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of it, Joseph.
When they come for you, they slam you down to the ground, and you know you got to be able to. You got to be smart. I mean, you know, there's different ways of going about it. You know, you got to be prepared. Okay. Nobody's prepared today.
Okay. Well, no.
You prepared to have electricity shut off for 2 weeks? You prepared? You got enough food? You got enough water?
Me?
Anyone out there?
Well,
Everyone.
Are you referring to me? Well, I mean, okay. Well, you know, I can't pay an electric bill. I don't pay the electric company nothing. I don't give people nothing.
Wait, no electricity. Can you survive? 2 weeks,
Ron's
no electricity.
I'm going to go ahead and bring Donnie on in. Donnie's been kicking back listening and now is raising his hand, so I'm going ahead and... Hey, Donnie. Glad that you're joining us.
Merry Christmas, holiday, all that shit.
How you doing? Happy New Year.
That's great. Anyway, I'm self-sufficient. I don't need shit.
Good.
Everything from electricity, water, sewage. Don't need shit.
It's the way to live.
I mean, this wasn't the plan. Okay, first off, it wasn't the plan. It's how it worked out. Because as a reality, since I'm in the real fucking world, I had to make shit happen to benefit me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being a victim of something. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not bragging on myself because of the knowledge I know and the education I have. It's just fucking reality. You got to learn to fucking survive. Survival is survival of the fittest. You know, money don't mean shit. Money is not going to fucking do dick for you. When money collapses, like I said before, man, when we go into that digital fucking currency world, you're just freedom goodbye. You're no longer free. They completely control it now. That's it. It's over. You know what I mean? It's going to be fucking. It's not going to be good. It's going to be sad. But there again, but the point here's the point too, though. When it comes to that, those people that do have money and shit like that, it is not going to be good for them. It's not going to be good for them because they're going to pull that fucking from them too. Everybody's going to get hit. Everybody. When it comes down to that. So, I mean, I hate to be the fucking bearer of the bad news, but it is what it is. But they want this. They want it to happen. They want you rule the fucking world. Period. And they're going to do it whether you like it or not. That's how it seems to be going on at this moment. That's my opinion. So it's up to y'all to whatever it's your.
Well, when this stuff do go down, there's got to be some tribunals formed to go legally and justly bring these people that's been plotting to destroy the fabric of the United States, bring their butts to justice. You got to have another Nuremberg.
Bianchi, my brother, I've known you since Perry Steele. Remember back in the day? Perry Steele.
Yeah, I remember you.
Remember me, right? You know I am. Brother, you've known, we've been in this conversation many times. These motherfuckers don't care, man. They don't give a shit. They're going to do what they want. It don't matter. It's like we have no say-so. When they come and say, well, you voted them in that voting, let's get into reality here. I didn't ask for the son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Well, I hear what you're saying, Ron. But I'll tell you this, I ain't going out that easy.
Well, I'm not trying to go out easy either, man. I'm with you. I'll get Bob, man. But that's what they want. You get it. But you get it, right?
This ain't about no hate. This is about we ain't going to do it. We ain't going to turn our kids like they did, like this library in Iowa.
Right.
Iowa. They came in and voted out the whole damn board. Then the staff.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Get rid of these assholes and brand them so you recognize them in the future because you can guarantee they're going to come back and try it again.
They will. Fucking right they will. That's right. They sneak in, slide in, and they ban the shit's full. But you're right, Bianchi. I'm with you, man. You're absolutely right. It's the unbelievable fact of this, man, because, I mean, you know, people don't realize right and wrong anymore. They just go by what people tell them. You know what I mean? They believe this. Mm-hmm. They believe that this is the way it's supposed to be. And, you know, it's a complete mind fuck. And if you can't see it coming at you, I mean, wow, man. You must be brain dead to receive this. But it keeps going. I mean, now we got the election coming up, and, you know, here soon, you know, Donald Trump and everyone's Trump and all that shit, and then Biden's still advertising his shit. And then I was watching myself, like I said earlier, I mentioned about listening to Mark Dice, and when Mark Dice did that 3-year change, the very State of the Union address that he ever made were all the same. You know what I mean? So, yeah, okay. And this time, though, I believe that Biden was fucking hitting some dope. He was definitely fucking ready to rock, you know what I mean? Any other time, he's like, you know, he just mopes along, right? This time, he was fucking up there. He was on it. But he repeated the same thing in the past 2 years.
Well, you know,
do you think it was his double? Do you think it was his double or somebody? Because he was able to talk much better than regularly. Do you think it was one of
He was fucking doped up, man.
They had him drugged up so good. They got his cocktail perfected. You know?
Oh, yeah. Fuck. I wanted some of it. I want to know what he had. Fuck. Cut this motherfucker in, you know what I'm saying? Tell me, what do you got, man? I'd love to feel that fucking good. Tell people to say bullshit story I've told them the past 2 fucking years. My kidding you.
He was drugged up and had a double-sized butt plug. Butt plug.
Yeah, yes. He had a deluxe banana fucking split action going on. I swear to God. I mean, deluxe banana split. But anyway, I mean, fuck, man. You couldn't deny it. You know, this motherfucker, oh, my God. Are the people in my country that fucking stupid?
Then he makes statements like he's going to create a federal law to bring back abortion. And the courts already told him about that. But see, here's the thing. Now you recognize the other part of your enemy, and that's the media. The media should be running all up and down with that. If it was Trump, you couldn't rest.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. We had to keep our flow going our way to make sure we get this shit for us. You know what I mean? We got to make it easier for ourselves, and stupid fuckers won't believe it. And it's sad. It's a fucking sad thing, man. People, I mean, Jesus Christ. You've got to be fucking kidding me. You don't see what the fuck is going on? And you're going along with it? Fucking retarded? What the? What's my say, guys? This ain't my show, but this Larry's show, but my God. How fucking stupid can we be? How far does this shit go? It's crazy, isn't it? Or is it just me? Because I know I'm fucking crazy.
Oh, it's not just you. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, the only, I think what Biden's, thing is with abortion is it's going to be a push for a constitutional amendment to protect abortion rights. That's the only way the federal government can do it, is with an amendment. And so I think that's going to be the next push, is a constitutional amendment to guarantee abortion rights. And it's like, good luck with that, but that's their push. The more of these Democrats...
Wait.
Let's get that.
They do not need an amendment to do that. They can codify it. They can make it a law.
But first off, okay, let me, oh my God, you people.
A regular law? Then the Supreme Court can come back around and go, no, we said that it goes to the states not to the federal government. So that's why an amendment would be needed. Otherwise, Carl just shut it down again.
Dude,
seriously.
The federal government cannot codify laws that apply to all states out trumping their state constitution. If people let that happen, I don't know what to tell you.
Who gives a no? Fuck that too. Man, look. Okay. Here's the fucking deal. Here's what I look at. If a woman decides to do what she wants to do at school, fine. That's her call. That's it. Why in the fuck do I go so goddamn fucking retarded over this shit of fucking, if a woman wants to abort a child, that's her choice. That's her body.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? That's up to her. If she wants to, knock your fucking self out.
Only thing I'm not is follow the damn law. If you want to kill your kid, go ahead. Let's follow the law. That's all we ask.
Exactly right. Well, Yankee, we know, man.
Can't accept that in society. Can't accept that. Can't accept that openly in society.
Right.
And we have no moral standards. We have no moral standards.
Yeah, I make every fucking 10,000 goddamn groups for some other fucking bullshit.
Then let everybody just have a free-for-all. Let's just do whatever we want. Anarchy.
That's the way it should be.
Naturalism. There we go. Strongest survive.
But that's the way it should be. We should be free, willing to fucking go. We're supposed to live in a free country. Ain't we? We're supposed to be free.
You're free. You live in a free country. You live in a free country, but we're a country of laws, not men.
Well, that's what we're talking about, Joe. What about assisted suicide? People suffering, in pain, they can't get a doctor to assist them and end it. They want to end it. But they say you can't do that. Javarkian, remember the shit he went through?
So let him suffer some more. Fuck him, don't matter.
Well, that again, a doctor. See, again, if a person wants to do something to themselves, that's their choice. We can't condone it though and say it's okay. We're not going to outlaw and make it a crime either.
If you were sick and dying, wouldn't you think it'd be your fucking choice to fucking fuck you out?
It's my choice. You're right. It's my choice. It's not your choice, and you don't have, and you should not be able to assist me either.
Oregon is one of them. Colorado is legal. If you have a terminal disease, then and then it is legal for a doctor to prescribe you the drugs to end your life. And they can assist with that.
Exactly.
And so, but that's only certain states. I think. Can't remember the number. I'd have to look it up, and I'm away from my computer. But I think it's like 11 states, or maybe 7 or something that have laws that allow for that.
Oregon is one.
If that's the law, then fine. If that's the law, then fine.
Cancer, and I have a life. My next couple of months is going to be nothing but a living hell of pain and suffering, and there's nothing to be done about it except drugging me up to the point of pretty much being practically unconscious anyways. Then hell. But again, that'll be my choice to do it. But I shouldn't be forced to have to endure that. I think that would be my right. But then the problem is when if you just commit suicide yourself, then bye goes your life insurance for your family. Bye goes anything. You know what I mean? It's like if you just commit suicide yourself, then you're going to forego any life insurance that you have. Your beneficiaries ain't going to get it.
That's very
why
rare.
The laws need to be in place to allow it.
If you're comatose and you don't even know where you're at, you're not suffering.
I agree with you on the morality, Joe Giffen, because when a woman water break and here comes the baby and his head is at the opening in her vagina, then they want to pull out a drill and drill a hole in it. That is immoral. You're absolutely right. That is immoral. Or like the governor in Virginia said, give birth to the baby, set it on the table, and decide what to do with it. That is immoral. Ask me, it's murder.
Right. And guys, think about this.
Oh, that absolutely is murder.
What is the oath that the doctors take after they graduate medical school?
They take what they call the Hippocratic Oath, right?
No.
And what's in that Hippocratic Oath? First,
no harm.
Do no harm. First, do no harm. First. Okay? That's the first thing that's in that oath. Okay? So if that's in that oath, then, and they're going to try and commit, they're going to try assisting suicide, that's doing harm. That goes against their oath. That should be going against their oath.
I am online.
Hello?
I think
We're here.
there was some kind of issue, but I am Mike. What's your name?
We're here.
Oh, okay. So it seems we are all here.
We got Brother Mike, and then we got regular Mike. Two Mike.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's too bad. It's too bad we don't have Sarge tonight.
Yeah, I know.
We're jumping all over the place. Here, there, kill this, kill that, kill.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole thing about, the doctor-assisted suicide, yeah, maybe they should be allowed to do that, but again, their oath. First, do no harm, and that oath is the same thing for the abortion issue. You're doing harm when you have the abortion. You're doing harm to the baby. All right.
Well,
Well, yeah, but I think with doctor-assisted suicide, though, when it's those circumstances where you got a terminal illness and you're going to suffer, is it more harmful to assist with somebody dying peacefully, dying while, on their own terms, or is it doing more harm to allow them to suffer in pain and agony, all that, so in my mind, I think that you're doing more harm by forcing that person to endure a long, stretched-out, painful death. I think that's doing more harm.
Yep, you said a mouthful right there. Our own terms. We'll be our own gods. We can decide our own stuff. We decide our own everything. It's always us.
A person that's terminal, what are the jackboots going to do next? Come take their guns because they got the ability to end their own life? And if they end their own life, what they going to charge them with? They going to resuscitate them, then bring them to trial? You ended your life. That was against the law.
Well, we keep wrestling against the same things, the things of the world. This world, everything's us. Me. Where's our higher? What do we look up to? What's our moral compass? What's the foundations of our belief and standards? What standards are we going by? We always point to the Constitution. Well, what's the Constitution? What's the foundations of that?
Well, the problem
is for a religious and moral people. A religious and moral people. It's inadequate for any other.
We're not a moral religious defining when life begins. So when you stand up and ejaculate on the floor, are you taking a baby's life?
Yes, you are. That's wrong. That's a sin, actually. That's a sin.
Millions. Yeah. You're taking millions of lives.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many cases that I have committed. I mean, I gotta be in trillions. I do of murders I've committed. Trillions. Yeah. It always happens in showers, hotels, shit like that. Something about nature said, well, you need to release it. Nature said, get rid of it.
Nature. So you answer to nature.
Nature, yeah. Nature.
Okay, so you answer to nature. Okay.
All right, I'm answering to nature, but I committed a crime. I do what nature told me to do.
So nature's your God.
Ain't it?
I don't know mine.
What the fuck do you do? What the fuck ain't it? Nature, bro.
Well, you gotta release it. If you go around extended period of time, you got it built up, and your damn head's gonna blow off.
From what, Bianchi? What are you talking about, man?
If you don't release that damn semen in you, your head's gonna blow off.
The fucking pressure? Yeah, that's right. Blue balls is a motherfucker.
You're damn right.
Twice in my life.
And mine ain't blue, I can tell you it is.
But I don't give a fuck what color it is. That fucking hurts like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? This is natural life. Natural. We're animals. We are fucking animals. But ain't we fucking animals? We are fucking human animals. We are the humans. We are the humans.
Well, you know, in Japan, like I talked about earlier, in Japan, in the office, they did that simulator for menstrual cramps. I wonder if they can make a simulator for women that would give us at least an idea of what it feels like to have blue balls. That would be interesting. I wonder how
women should feel that pain. Women should feel that pain. It sucks. I know. I've been there. Fuck no. I don't like it. But
only thing worse than blue balls is probably urinary tract infection where you can't piss, and when you do piss, even a teaspoon.
Right. All of a sudden they're saying fucking pancreas cancer, shit like that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean we live in a fucking artificial world, man. I mean, that's when the folks told me never go through the center of a store, never go through the aisles of a store, just go around it like a circle, because that's all you need. You know, vegetables, meat, and dairy. Don't worry about that shit in the middle of the fucking store. You know what I'm saying? And I've lived better because of that. You know?
So, Lorianne, I have a friend whose mother is kind of, or mother-in-law, let's say, who's kind of dealing with Alzheimer's, but she's also she's 89, 90 years old, whatever she is, and she's made the decision that she doesn't want to be put on life support. She don't want it. She'd rather deal with the pain and put a percent in her mind that she doesn't want to fight anymore. She's tired of the fight, and she doesn't want the life support. That's her choice, right? Her choice is to not have the life support and basically die, right?
Yeah, it's called a DNR. Do not resuscitate. Do not take extreme measures, which, you know, I encourage everybody to have. You know, people always focus on their will, but they don't tend to, a lot of people forget about, you know, determining under what circumstances are doctors not to resuscitate you. You know, a medical directive that says, okay, you know, if I am incapacitated and I am, you know, already dying, I have a terminal disease, and I go into cardiac arrest, do not resuscitate me. If there's really no hope of having a quality of life or, you know, even being conscious, like, we should be able to determine, you know, at what point, you know, if we would have normally, especially if we would have normally died, you know, and we should be able to determine, you know what, no, I don't want to be in a coma for 5 fucking years or 10 fucking years on life support indefinitely. You know, in those cases, is that really suicide to have a DNR that says, no, don't do that? Keep me alive on machines falsely when I would normally be dead? Is that suicide? Is that morally wrong? I don't think so. Because you would normally be dead. The only thing keeping you, you know, technically alive are machines that are helping you breathe and keeping your heart beating. You know, that's it. You know, without those machines, you would be dead. You would naturally be dead.
I've heard of sometimes they take them off the machines and they still live 6, 8, 10 months. You know,
You know, so just because you take them off the machines and they want to die doesn't mean they're going to die right away. You know?
Because there is room for improvements, and also there was the stories about the ladies that was in coma for 18 months and came back, and she's very good, but because they kept her alive indeed. But, there are so many cases and so many instances, but also there are some instances that, it doesn't matter how long the person can be in induced coma, and it doesn't work. So it's like a 50% chance. But I think the best thing is let the, people try it before they take the machine off their system out. And I know in Ontario, Canada, that is available for people to be suicide, and they could give them some injections, and that's it. It will be end of the beginning of the end. So that's is
well, what Canada is doing is a whole different story. Like, they have opened it up to, you can do it just for any reason. Oh, I'm depressed. Life is hard. I want to die. And not only is it like you can go to your doctor and your doctor is allowed to do it, but the doctors actually encourage it. Oh, you've been suffering with depression. Oh, well, guess what? We can assist you in dying if that's what you want. Like, they actually offer it up. And I think that right there is definitely morally wrong. You shouldn't just be able to go, hey, doc, yeah, give me the drugs that end my life for any reason at all. Like I said, they're allowing it even for depression. And it's
But it's a part of the human.
Come on now.
It's a part of human depopulation too, because the Prime Minister Todor, he is part of the New World Order, and that's why he does that, especially in Ontario and a few other states, I'm sure, as well too. And they don't like to, take care of their own people. They spend some money. And,
that reminds me, I want to play a little 3-minute clip. Before my switchboard shuts down, I wanted to play this. It's only like 3 minutes, but like this is like the future that that we have. AI and the Useless Class by World Economic Forum. He's the second-hand man to Klaus Schwab, Yuval Noah Harari. And so this is what they are planning. This is what they want. This is what the World Economic Forum and all of the companies and all of the politicians worldwide, this is what they're signing all of us up for. So here we go. It's only 3 minutes, but, just give this a listen.
I'm Professor Yuval Noah Harari. I'm a historian and a professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. One of the biggest things happening in the world right now is a shift in authority from humans to algorithms, to AI. Now, increasingly, this decision about you, about your life, is done by an AI. The AI goes over enormous amounts of data about you, which no human being is able to do. And maybe the bank says, no, we don't give you a loan. And you come to the bank and you say, why not? What's wrong with me? Why did you deny my application? And the bank says, the algorithm said no. But the problem is that you just can't, because an AI makes decisions in a fundamentally different way than humans. Some people think, again, that creativity is some mystical, supernatural thing that AI will never have. But actually, in many cases, creativity means being able to spot a pattern and then break it in a creative way, in a new way, do something new. And this is something that AI is actually becoming very good at. And there are fields when already today AI is more creative than humans. A famous example is chess. AI, it's not just that AI now plays chess better than humans. It's much more creative in the type of moves that it makes. And the same is with the game of Go. So, and this can extend to more and more fields. Many people think that the main aim of music is to inspire human emotions. Now, if this is what music is about, very soon AI will be better than most human musicians. Yeah, one of the biggest dangers with this new technology is that, a lot of jobs will disappear. So the biggest question in the job market would be whether you are able to retrain yourself to fill the new job, and whether the government is able to create this vast educational system to retrain the population. People will need to retrain themselves. Or if they can't do it, then if you can't do it, the danger is you fall down to a new class, not unemployed, but unemployable, the useless class. People who don't have any skills that the new economy needs. This will be a disaster. The profits of the new industries, they are used to benefit the whole population, to retrain themselves and fulfill their entire human potential.
Yeah, so that's AI and the useless class. This is the future they want. This is what they talk about when we talk about transhumanism and incorporating AI and technology with humans, and this is our future, and it's already happening. AI is already starting to replace a lot of jobs in all kinds of different sectors, and we're creating a useless class, which I am probably part of. I am 51 years old. I worked in IT for over 20 years, and now I'm trying to look for jobs, and I'm not qualified for them anymore. And a lot of those initial, like, tier 1 jobs, are being replaced by AI, chatbot, eliminating certain classes. AI is now starting to get into programming, technical engineering. It's getting into administrative services. It's getting into just about every sector. And so as that happens, then where does that leave the people like me who it's like, well, I got 20 years experience, but guess what? I can't even get a tier 1 level fucking job anymore, and, what do I do with that, right? And,
excuse me, am I on a radio show at this time? Am I on a show? Am I connected still?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, sorry about that.
You are still connected, my
friend. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. I feel so sorry for you poor people. We continue. I'm sorry. I had a disconnecting problem.
AI, we have to craft our resumes. Job searching isn't like it used to be. Now, if you even want to have any prayer of your resume actually being seen by a human being, you have to craft your resume so that you can satisfy the AI scanners, so it's AI is replacing human resources. AI is replacing,
the computer is telling me if I can have a job or not. Computer's telling me if I can have a job or not. So.
Yeah, exactly. I might be perfectly qualified. I might be a great candidate. But guess what? The recruiter will never fucking know because they're using AI software that's filtering out my resume. And if I don't have the exact keywords,
it's so they don't have to fuck around too much.
My resume for every fucking position that I apply for.
They're looking for the closest match what they want. And that's what it's close to match they fucking want. They don't give a fuck about you or anybody else. They want it's going to benefit them. They got to benefit them first and fuck you later. It don't matter. as long as they're benefited from it. And they're guaranteed they're going to benefit because you will probably be one of the people buy some type of product from them and never know you did it. It don't matter. It just don't matter.
Do you know?
And you know.
Do you know what the scariest, most disturbing thing he said in that whole spiel? He said, and the government will have to train you.
Yeah.
He's depending on, you can't do it yourself. Nobody can do it for you or train you. Only the government can train you.
Because they're smarter than you.
Yeah, so let's trust the government even
stupid.
more, even though the government keeps proving it can't be trusted. Do you see that it's a psychological mind fuck that's going on? That it's a trap. It really is. It's a trap.
So, Lorianne, I have a job for you. Go to the redhat.com and then also type Red Hat for Women and become their member. Why don't you use open source? I'm sure you know open source. Do you know open source? Lorianne, do you know open source?
Red Hat is Linux. You're talking about Linux, Red Hat?
Or not?
It's been a long time since I've dove into that. Put it that way.
I encourage you to learn Linux and either talk to the redhat.com, Linux Smith. Get away.
Ain't the Red Hat people, the women, are they kind of crazy? Are they kind of dangerous? What point do you have with this? What is your point to talk about these chicks with a red hat?
Get a job.
She's got a red hat. So she's red hat.
Community and open source is
what the fuck are you talking about?
Right now. Because whatever she knows, she doesn't know.
But how is that possible when
Yeah.
reality exists back to right of freedom? So why would that exist? So you can't prove
because
that to me
everything
yet.
is going to be pretty much Linux, open source. So sooner you guys learn.
So it's gonna be free. It'll be free will for them or us. What are you talking about? That's for them. What? You gotta tell me something, man.
It is open source. That means you are in control. Nobody else is in control.
I'm in control.
So
of a fucking open source. Okay.
That's what
cool.
I was talking to Lorianne, so I don't know about you, but that's
I'm
fine.
sorry. Well, I'm just calling you out. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not a programmer or engineer. The reason I'm fucked is because I was specialized in proprietary software that at the time my company was using that about 65,000 people organization-wide were using, and I specialized in that for 10 years. And so that puts me in this position where, I am not an engineer. I am not a programmer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was a support person for this specific proprietary platform.
You can be support for the Linux. You can be support a lot of jobs. Just type Linux jobs, U.S. Army. Linux jobs in your area. Thousands of it available. I was told I was, my intelligence and everything I know, being kind of a smart person in my life, I have realized on is off and off is on. I got it. I get it. So that makes
sense. Everybody.
Yeah.
We're sure.
Whoa. Somebody blasted out there, but yeah, with Linux, what I've seen in jobs with Linux are like server administrators. Companies that are using Linux servers for managing some of their systems and stuff.
I mean, you can be a salesperson for Red Hat or Linux Mint or any other Linux one. There are so many Linux available. I mean, Ubuntu. I mean, you can be a salesperson for Ubuntu. It's very easy jobs. I mean, you don't have to be administrative, but if you want administrative, that's fine. But whatever you decide.
Yeah.
Ron.
Yes. Sorry. I'll be quiet. I'm sorry.
So bottom line, Lorianne can get a job easily and get herself on the top, because these are like right now in the United States over 8 million Linux jobs available, but there's nobody know about it. So they have to bring from China. They have to bring from Indonesia. They have to bring India, because those people, they know Linux very good. So why do we have to let all these great jobs, whether U.S. Army, whether it's in IRS, whether etc. I mean, these jobs needs to be filled. Why better than Lorianne? Why better than the XYZ? Why not Americans fill up those jobs? Then we have no choice to give them J1 visa or etc. to come here. So once Americans are out of jobs, they have to look and put themselves into and especially your IT, you already have the knowledge and power. I can see that Linux, you will be so great. Just contact your Linux community in every city or localities they are, or just type how I can learn Linux free. There's tons of things, videos you can watch. I mean, but I know you already know it. I mean, I'm not talking about you, Lorianne, but other people, they may not know. And it's very easy to immigrate from a stupid dumbass Microsoft to Linux. Linux is more powerful and it's much better software, and it's not going to get that much viruses like Microsoft or even Apple. Apple, Microsoft right now is 75% Linux, which you are using it. I mean, do you know that Apple uses the kernel? Kernel is the mother. I mean, is the main component of Linux. They are using that for Apple. So, I mean, why do we want to spend $5,000 computer for that? Why you can buy a nice computer for $500-$600 and turn it into powerful Linux Mint or Red Hat or Ubuntu. There are so many versions, but these are the main 3 versions. And learn it and promote it and learn it and get a job. Reaching jobless United States.
Yeah, and then the problem though is with AI is pretty soon, especially when it comes to training, why, companies are going to go to AI even for Linux. Why pay a person that needs training and ongoing training? Why pay a person for that when an AI can learn it, in a day instead of a couple of months? You know what I mean? You don't have to have pay that person, $25 or $30 an hour to learn it over the course of a week, let's say, for a particular course, when an AI can learn it in minutes. That's what I mean. Like, that's the scary part, is AI is going to be taking over computer programming, server administration, support jobs, you name it, because companies are going to, and there was a chat that I put in. I had this chat with one of my lefty friends, and, she is all for AI replacing jobs. She made this post about, illegals taking jobs, and I'm going to read this to you. So her post was, I keep waiting for somebody to tell me, yeah, I was a fruit picker until those illegals showed up. And then I commented, I'm more concerned about AI stealing jobs. Honestly, it's truly scary. Take a look at this. how many people have these types of jobs. And I posted a video about artificial intelligence is actively eliminating these jobs forever. And this guy is a recruiter, and he goes into all of these different areas that AI is taking over. And then she responds back, I get that, but I think it would be kind of cool if AI and even robots did a lot of jobs. They would have to pay us to do nothing. Otherwise, they won't have anyone to buy or use the services being made by or provided by AI. And I responded back, I'm like, who is they? If companies replace workers more and more in just about every industry with AI and robots, who is the they that will have to pay people who are out of work? And she responded, AI can't spend money, right? The AI is more productive. The rich folks who run the companies want to make a lot of money. Cutting costs of production always benefits them. So, of course, they will do it. But the problem is once enough of them is doing this, everyone is too poor to buy whatever the AI is creating. The only way they can make money is to have customers. The government will have to pay us a base wage regardless of employment. The money to pay the unemployed would come from the businesses, perhaps a percentage of the profits or something. And so then I responded, the government equals taxpayers. The more people are not working, the less taxpayers there are. Unemployment doesn't last forever and requires looking for work, for jobs that won't be there. Do you see the vicious downward cycle? And she replies back, I'm sure they will figure it out. Looks like they are going to have to. The jack is out of the box. As consumers, we can always focus to buy products that are created by AI, etc. I have heard talk about a base wage already. Right now, though I am headed to bed, if we tax the billionaires at 25% like Biden said, we will have plenty of money. People would still work jobs because the jobs that will be available will pay more than the base wage. And then I responded, I'm like, we can go into circles on this endlessly. The government, who is beholden to big corporations, that has ensured fucking over we the people endlessly, being trusted to figure this out, I am skeptical, to say the least. I read an article recently showing how 80% of what people polled support never actually happens in government. That means 80% of what our government does is directly opposite of what we the people want, including solutions to problems that, if actually tried, could work. One sector of jobs that has grown bigger and bigger is government jobs. That's truly not a good thing. And so she's actually a proponent for this universal basic income, and they will figure it out, meaning the government. They, you know what I mean? And I'm like, do you not understand, this is the leftist I'm trying to talk reason to. Like, you don't understand. Like, the more they displace actual human workers, the less taxpayers there's going to be, and you're going to tax all these companies even more. And then guess what? The prices of those goods keep going up because the companies aren't going to take that financial hit, as they... it's this downward spiral that's happening, and she just doesn't get it. That's how leftists think, and it's like, no, no. You can't have this universal basic income and pay people not to work because everything's being replaced by AI in this fucking utopia that you're thinking about. And, there's going to be some serious goddamn consequences. And they don't get it, but that's the World Economic Forum for you. This is how ingrained they are. They're so fucking unaware that this is the future. The World Economic Forum, the Klaus Schwabs, are teaming up for us with AI, integrating transhumanism, and pretty soon, like if you haven't seen the movie The Creator on Hulu, you really should. And it's really fucking scary because not only are these robotic humanoids, the movie is premised on it's a war between humans and what they created, these AI transhumans, robots, basically. But they're sentient beings. They've gained consciousness. And so you literally have human people dying trying to protect these sentient AI human robot hybrids and treating them as if actual human beings. This is the stuff that they're preparing us for. This is the stuff that they're trying to normalize. This is a robot, that they've integrated with human skin, with, some human elements in it. And this war happens, and you're supposed to be on the side of these sentient AI human, transhumanoids, basically. If you haven't watched that movie, The Creator, you really should, because this is the fucking direction that we're going.
Absolutely, Lorianne, but still, if you are going to be Linux-Ville, which you are IT background, it's easier for you to get in and experience everything. I mean, there must be some jobs that you can do. It's impossible that you are in IT working and you say that you are jobless. It really breaks my heart, because you are IT personnel. You should have already check U.S. Army. Just check any government agency. Just put open source Linux jobs to see something you should be qualified for. You should be working very soon. Go ahead, please, Gloria.
Well, see, that's the problem. I mean, what jobs I'm seeing more and more of right now is jobs for collections, jobs for, basically, hey, I'm collecting your shit. I'm going to repo your shit. I'm going to kick you out of your house. Those are the jobs that I'm seeing coming more and more, and it's like, yeah, I could get a job like that. I could call people up and I could harass them for their fucking money because they're unable to pay it and all that. I could arrange for their car to be taken from them. I could arrange for a crew of people to come in and take the furniture that the person couldn't, do. There's a lot of jobs springing up for that. I could work it, but I do have a moral compass. I really, even though I could, and even though I really do need a job, I am, fucking desperate financially right now, but morally, psychologically, I don't think I could do those jobs. And I don't want to work for a government that only 2 years ago, and some of them, required all of their employees to get the fucking jab. I don't want to be the next one to have my job on a chopping block because I don't comply with the next fucking shot for the next fucking pandemic that comes around. You know what I mean? So it's like, I could, but you know what I mean? But do I want to be part of the beast that I'm so against? That's the other part of the problem.
So do you know Open Hybrid Cloud? Do you know cloud system or not?
Yeah, but there is
not administering
it.
I mean, I've used it, but
okay.
I don't have much. I don't have experience administering it or
but I mean,
managing
you work directly for the companies that is a non-U.S. government. There are lots of jobs available, and from Los Angeles, from any major city. I'm sure you are in one of major cities. The IT cities, from airlines, from anything. They need people like you. If you know IT, They will utilize your skills, plus they will teach you, or you will self-learn it. You will self-learning it, and then you can utilize everything you know and get a job in airlines. There's, things that they don't need really a jab or force you to take a stupid COVID vaccine. You know, I understand why you say that vaccine. Okay, you don't want to take vaccine, but you go work for like a private sectors that they need personnel like you, and plus open source knowledge, and so they can, utilize your things with them.
You know, if you do something like that, Lori Ann, when the time comes, it's nice to have somebody on the inside to sabotage.
Yeah, I think she dropped.
True. No,
what should be done with artificial intelligence, robots, and software, anything like that takes the position of a real live human employee? Those things should be taxed at an employee rate as if they was live humans. If the robot is working 24 hours, well, that's 3 shifts. Taxes go to running of the cities. I wouldn't stand for with the federal government, but state and local governments should do that. The business owners are still going to come out ahead. They don't have to pay no vacation, don't have to pay no workers' compensation, don't have to pay. They still going to come out ahead. But when you got machines and technology like that that's putting real people out of work, no, you need to tax it. Because if you don't have real people paying taxes, there go your roads, your schools, and other things. Yeah, but see, that's where I
have a problem too. And more tax. That can't. I'm so tired of tax more as being the solution to everything. And look at where it's getting us. We keep taxing more and more and more, and yet here we are, getting more and more fucked. And so you give the government more money. What are they going to do? You're just giving them more money to fuck us even more. And then if you tax the AI, then guess what? That's what happens, this universal income crap. That's exactly how this universal income crap comes to be, is by taxing even more. And then the goods and services that the company is saving money by using AI, but now they're not going to eat that. That means everything that's produced is going to go up, making it even harder. It's this vicious circle, and that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what our government wants. That's exactly what World Economic Forum wants. Siphon even more money because big business should pay their fair share. Let's tax them even fucking more. But those companies are never going to eat that. They're not going to eat it. It's going to be passed on.
They never have.
When they get rid of the employee, they're not going to lower the prices. And the employees got to.
Oh, and hey guys, I only have about 4 minutes until my switchboard is going to shut down. I do have a Skype number raising their hand. Maybe it's John Doe. Let's find out. But I do want to start bringing people on, unmuting them before my switchboard goes down. But first, let's find out whom we got. Skype number. Who do we got?
Bingo, John Doe.
Hey, John Doe.
Goddamn.
Good. I thought that might be you.
And
then Suzette and Robert, I'm unmuting you. Cinnamon, I'm unmuting you as well in case you want to chime in. Just stay muted on your end. But my switchboard's going to shut down in about 3 minutes, and I won't have the ability to unmute. But Jim Clark, I know you're working and you wanted to stay muted, so I will not unmute you. You can kick back and listen. But everybody else on the switchboard, you are now unmuted. And John Doe, good to hear from you. Would love to have you chime in on the conversation that we've been having.
You're in trouble, John Doe. You're in trouble, John Doe, because you disappeared for an extended period of time. We were getting concerned.
I hope the other people I'm in trouble with then, huh?
Well, getting back to this tax on this AI, if you put people out of work, they aren't paying the taxes that's used to run the infrastructure of the city. Then, if you put people out of work and they are not paying employee taxes, but the people that are working, the government's going to raise the taxes on them. Tax on robots.
And what about Social Security?
Same thing.
AI will never need Social Security. What happens to that?
Let the robots and AI, let the tax that would be coming out of employee, let those taxes go toward those things that the employee would pay that AI, robots, and software has taken their place.
Hello?
Yeah.
I thought we are all disconnected at one point, I thought.
No, we're still here. I'm just allowing anybody else to comment before I do.
So we are going to be 1 more hour here? Or just 1 minute?
Maybe.
We can go on forever. We are about to enter no man's land here in about 1 minute. So my switchboard will shut down, but the chat room will still be open. And but we're at the mercy of Blog Talk or whenever I end it, so we can continue into however long it goes.
Yes, you see, World Government Summit was on February 1st, 2024 in Dubai. My gosh. And I need people go read it. It's talking about AI and, oh my gosh, that's what they're going to do. So, you see, always they tell you before they do things like that. And it's changed the world.
Absolutely. They're literally talking about AI and transhumanism being the next, they are creating the next evolution of human beings. And so like that clip I played, creating the useless class, well, that's just one phase. The next phase is AI transhumanism is going to be the next evolution of the human race. And those of us that aren't, we're SOL. We are going to be phased out. The human race as we know it, that is their plan, is going to be wiped out. And we will be replaced by these, AI, robotics, humanoid, that's their plan. They literally said that, and people think that this is conspiracy theory, and it's like, did you look at Davos, this last February and what they're talking about? Did you fucking listen? They're telling us that. It's the next evolution. And they're crafting it. They're playing God.
Absolutely. And it says in 5 years, but it will do in coming 1,000 years. It will be a major change, and we can solve many, many problems by AI. And Mr. AI said that Mr. Al Gurwai, whatever his name is, said to the ministers, event that the museums of the future on the Tuesday. So they're going to make AI museums as well too, to see how it started. I guess every year they will add more things to it. So for the next 1,000 years. So yeah, AI.
You know what the answer? You know what the answer is going to be to pregnancies, don't you? They're making these sex robot dolls, humanoids. They feel like a human. They look like a human. They can talk, make noise, moan, and groan. $5.95. Get done with it, hang it up in the closet.
Oh yeah, and incubators, and I don't think that it's an accident that we have companies like 23andMe where we're sending all our DNA. They've collected so much DNA, and they've already been able to take a frozen woman's ovum and extract her DNA and put in the DNA that they want into that ovum. And they've already been able to do this.
Yeah, the last time I was arrested for a misdemeanor, they swabbed my mouth, and I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "We're taking a DNA sample." I said, I'm bonding right out. I have no idea what you're talking about." They said, "No, it's a new law in Alabama or something like that. We have to collect your DNA." And I'm sitting there thinking, I couldn't tell them no, I don't guess. They probably would have kept me. I don't know. But, yeah, they're getting DNA all over.
Well, yeah, that's another moneymaker, is selling that DNA information to, I don't know, China.
Violation of your Fourth Amendment.
Was it?
You can't just take your DNA without your
There
permission.
was.
That's like to draw in your blood.
Right.
You do.
I mean, they had a whole kit and everything. Opened the bag, got the kit out, swabbed my mouth.
You should have
stuck it
told
back
them to go
in
to
there.
hell.
Yeah, I should have. I was.
Yeah, that violates your right against self-incrimination. It really does. Because they're taking that DNA so that they can try to link you to any other crime.
Right.
That's self-incrimination.
Right. Oh, shit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
More importantly, what Joe was just saying, it's unreasonable search and seizure, and it's them confiscating your property without just cause.
Yeah, they don't even need a warrant. You've been arrested. Well, just because you've been arrested, you know what I mean, for something, it could be anything. They have no right to take your DNA.
They have a right to even take a breathalyzer test.
Nope.
They got your fingerprints and your picture. Now, whether they want a piss sample?
Yeah, that was what Alex Jones was saying about in 1977 when he went to the Texas and got his driver license, and he documented, and he was saying, you see, they want your fingerprint on everything. And this was started a long time ago, at least from 1977 when Alex Jones documented. So, it's now we are seeing everywhere AI. I mean, now you can go to the AI, I think, .com or what, just signing or with your whatever you're using, telephone, etc. You can use AI and talk to AI all day if you want. So now you have a new friend. You don't need any human being anymore. So AI, you ask everything and it will tell you.
They want to violate your Fourth Amendment rights for taking samples, but they let illegals come across. Don't even shake their hands. They just walk right on in. And all the time you get there.
Yeah,
swab,
they used to be required
they don't
to
committed a
take
heinous
DNA
crime.
samples from anybody coming through the border. You're right, yeah. They used to. Not anymore. They're not even taking DNA samples anymore.
The only time you get it is after they don't committed a heinous crime against a U.S. citizen, like killing that one student there in Georgia.
And also killed one lady in California, too, in San Francisco. The Bay Area, she was in the, over there and watching waves of the seas, and he shot her out of blue. Yeah, so we can see that. I mean, these people. I could talk to a few people already a couple of weeks ago or last week. Anyway, these people keep saying illegal aliens are not illegal. I said, why? Why not? Their philosophy is because they already initiated everything inside their country. So now they want to get in their green card or whatever it is now, so they can't come. I said, why they cannot come through regular channels? And then they have really bullshit answer with me, So finally I told them, Stelavi, because you guys don't understand meaning of illegal versus legal. I mean, these people, they come illegally, are illegals by any means. And even if they have initiated their refugee or whatever status they want to get in their beloved country or third country, they waited 2, 3, 4 years, but they have to come to the legal channel, legal port of entry. And if they don't, that means they broke the law. So they're illegals. And then if they have done illegal thing, before even get their green card or refugee status, for example, then that's not good. Already they're doing everything. So, that's their bullshitters. Democrats are just bullshitters. And Ayatollah Biden loves Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, and he, under table. But over table, they may say, oh, I don't love you, I don't like you, blah, blah. But under table, they love each other. Because hours ago, the Houthis, who supported by Ayatollahs, they tried to down one of our military ships inside the Red Sea. But what happened? They got a massive response, and they repelled it. But still, this Ayatollah Biden has not have action against Iran, and that's craziness. Get more craziness. Go ahead, please.
You know what they do too with them robots? If I buy a crane for my business, I get to expense that crane off of my gross income. If the crane costs $100,000, over a short period of time, I get to write off portions of that $100,000 until it's all ate up against my gross income. But they do the same thing with a robot. They expense the cost of their robot against the company's gross income. The electricity to run the robot, the maintenance to maintain the robot, the oil, repairs, all that is expensed against the gross income of the company. It lowers their amount that they have to pay taxes against. Same thing with a worker, a live worker. Their salary, the taxes that paid on the employer side is expensed against the company's gross income. Well, if you don't have a live employee, part of those taxes that would otherwise go to the maintenance of a municipality won't be derived. So you got to tax them. If not, you're going to be cutting back all kinds. Potholes won't be fixed and all kinds of stuff. Schools.
Hey, Bianchi.
Oh, well, potholes can be fixed. But if you fix your own pothole out in a city street because the city has neglected it, then you're fined. That's the fucked up part about it. We could fix our own goddamn potholes, but we're fined for it if we do. Because only the government's allowed. Anyway, go ahead, Bud. Sorry.
I was going to ask Bianchi, you live in an area that doesn't have potholes, that the city fills them all?
Well, the city's got a street department that's out there to maintain in unscheduled emergencies. They got to be there for water main break. If you have a sinkhole, well, if you don't have the money to pay for those city employees that's out there on the street department, then those things don't go unattended.
Hey, you guys reminded me of something. This is some of you may already know this, but you get your 3 or 4 dogs. You write them off as mobile security units. The food is fuel for your mobile security unit, and any vet bills are just maintenance. That's what rich people do.
Well, if you got a watchdog in your warehouse, the maintenance of that watchdog and everything is written off as a cost to do business.
Anyway,
well, boy, they should have been pointing